All right, process of elimination time. I'm back. Bundled up, sweater on. Comfortable as shit. I'm ready. As I remember, we were a little bit into chapter 3 after a long chapter 2. We are in the I was gonna say dungeon, but like the a cell-like place. Underground. Escaping for our lives and all that. Bookworm. Bookworm, after the loss of both Mystic and Downtown Detectives, thrust into our favorite detective role. Title. She's been sad for obvious reasons. Let's get right into it. Before I know it, the morning has come. We gather in the area between the cells to eat breakfast. All 10 of us sit in a circle. In the middle is the food Armor brought, as well as some cans that were found in the warden's room. Armor sits to my right and Bookworm my left. The latter must have slept well. Her face looks livelier than when we spoke last night. I gotta adjust audio here. Around here. Let's try that. Dining together in a circle. 'Tis like the lodging at an encampment. What fun! Being empty of mind means being free from worry. How enviable, the girl said with a sigh. There are quite a few of us, and only a small amount of food. Even with these cans from the warden's room, will run out in 3 days. If we don't decide our next move on the double, we will all die of starvation, said the girl, calmly stating the facts. Many pardons. I was consumed by whimsy. Bookworm shuts Armor down with ease. Her wordplay is quick as a whip, and her tongue sharper than ever. She definitely has her old energy back now. Hey, Bookworm, are you going to stick to speaking like that? Bookworm smiles impudently as I quietly whisper to her. We suffer from an overabundance of useless adults. As such, I'll focus on being as objective as possible in my thinking. I have vowed to expose the quartering Duke. Can I count on your support? Asked the girl, fixing incompetent detective with trustful eyes. Of course. Let's do our best, Bookworm. Her expression brightens. I can't detect the worry that had been present yesterday. She may need more time to fully recover, but progress is progress. I hope to stay by her and help out in whatever small way I can. Why, I never. Or a fine lady such as myself having to dine while seated upon the ground. This deeply shames the Pinkerton name. It's nice and manly if you ask me. Us Japanese people sitting cross-legged on the floor, all traditional-like. Just feels right. You're a girl, Rowdy, remember? You should mind your sitting posture a bit more. Besides, there are non-Japanese people here too, such as me. These cans, their expiration dates are 10 years past. Are we absolutely certain any of this is edible? You'll yap over just about anything, huh? If you don't want it, don't eat it. Luckily, we have all the water we need from the tap. Speaking from experience, you can live about a week on just water, see? Are you mad? How dare you compare your own primitive gut with my urbane, sophisticated stomach? Either way, there's no choice but to eat what we have. It'll be fine. I won't survive for a month on rusty cans of food. This is most certainly not fine. I've had enough of your common rabble. You common rabble. Don't worry, Posh. If anything here was actually dangerous, I'm sure I'd sense it. Canned goods are sterilized and hermetically sealed. If there aren't any holes or swelling, then scientifically, they can last over a decade. This dungeon receives no sunlight and has low humidity, which should allow for quite a long shelf life. And yet, you're only eating the snacks and barely touching the cans. Well, even if the science is sound, that doesn't mean I actually want to eat it. If Dolly says they're safe, then they must be. What a rare opportunity. I shall dine upon canned goodies to my heart's content. Don't go gorging yourself into a stomachache. I don't care if they aren't rotten. This food certainly isn't as safe as it gets. As Bookworm stated, our current problem is what to do before we run out of food. Even if we escape the toxic gas in the manor, that black machine is still outside. However, we haven't the supplies to wait here for help. I propose that we explore this dungeon. There could be a hidden passageway down here as well. I'm in favor. No doubt there's a path between here and the research facility. Really now? And is there any particular reason you're so confident about that?
実はさっき監視室で缶詰を探しているときにこのエレベーターの鍵を見つけたんだよ。
While we were searching for food in the warden's room, I just so happened to find this elevator key. As he speaks, Renegade Detective draws a key out from his pocket. The tag dangling below it does indeed read elevator.
エレベーターの鍵？この地下牢にはエレベーターなんてないのにどうして？
An elevator key. But wait, the dungeon doesn't even have an elevator, so why?
おかしいと思うよね。俺もそう思って理由を考えてみたんだ。
Curious, isn't it? I had the same reaction, so I gave it some thought.
そもそも通常エレベーターの使用に鍵など必要ない。メンテナンス用か特殊な操作を行うために使われるものだろう。
Elevators don't normally require keys, not unless they're for maintenance or to operate in some special way.
洋館にもエレベーターなんてなかったし、必要でもない。この島の中でエレベーターがある建物は一つだけさ。
Gorman Gas doesn't have an elevator either, nor a need for one. As it so happens, there's only one place on the island that does have an elevator.
研究棟か。
The research facility.
その通り。おそらくこれは研究棟のエレベーターの鍵だよ。
You know it. This key must be for the elevator at Snarks.
さて、そうなると疑問が生じる。ここは洋館の地下だから、研究棟からはだいぶ離れているよね。
But that raises a question. We're underneath the manor, which means we're pretty far from the research facility, right?
用途のないものを保管するはずもない。どうして研究棟のエレベーターの鍵をこの地下牢で保管する必要があるのかな？
They wouldn't keep something here if it had no use. So why store the key to the research facility elevator in this dungeon?
わかったぞ。つまりこの地下牢はエレベーターの業者さんが暮らすための施設だったということだな。
Aha! Now I understand. This dungeon was created as a dwelling place for the elevator operator.
惜しいね。全然違うよ。
Nope, not even close.
無能君ならわかるかな？遠く離れたこの場所に研究棟のエレベーターの鍵が用意されているわけよ。
You get it, don't you, incompetent? Why would the key for the research facility elevator be stashed all the way down here? Think. If it's kept here, that must mean there's a reason it needs to be here. The elevator key is required to be at the dungeon. In other words, the dungeon... the elevator key is required to be at the dungeon. In other words, the dungeon connects to the research facility, I would imagine. Connects?
つまりこの地下牢と研究棟はつながっている。
I'm probably wrong. I'm trying to follow. I mean, because the dungeon is connected to the research facility, right?
ここから研究棟へ行けるなら、研究棟で必要な鍵が保管されていてもおかしくはないよね。
If this place leads to Snarks, then it would only make sense for that key to be kept here.
大正
Hey,
解。
alright,
そ
we're
の
good.
通りだよ、無能君。
Give the man a prize. You're right on the money, incompetent.
さらに詳しく言えば、おそらくこの地下と研究棟の間を移動するのに、このエレベーターの鍵を使う必要があるのだろうね。
To be even more precise, this elevator key is probably required to travel between the two areas.
研究棟のエレベーターには地下へと移動するボタンはなかった。この鍵を使うことで、地下と地上とをつなぐ操作が可能になるんじゃないかな。
There wasn't a button in the facility for the elevator to descend any lower, so maybe this lets you move above and below ground.
なるほど。君の話をまとめると、この地下牢には研究棟のエレベーターへとつながる通路が隠されているはずだってことだね。
I see. So, to summarize, there's a hidden passage connecting this dungeon to the elevator at Snarks.
そういうことさ。一見袋小路にしか見えないこの牢獄にも必ず地上へと続く隠された道が存在するんだよ。
Nailed it! This dungeon seems like a dead end, but somewhere within it is a secret path that leads to the surface.
この食事が終わったらみんなで捜索しようよ。探偵は助け合いだからね。
Let's look for it after we finish eating. Detectives are all about mutual cooperation, right? Renegade Detective asked this uncharacteristic question with a smile. Given his past actions, I fully suspect he has an ulterior motive. But for now, Renegade Detective makes a good point. Everyone wants to escape from this place. It'd be best to do as he suggests.
隠し通路があるとしてどう探せばいいのかな。
If there's a hidden passage, how should we search for it?
オーソドックスに考えれば 通路を開く仕掛けがどこかに隠されているはずだけど。
An unorthodox
地下
approach.
室や監視室以外にそもそも調べられそうなものもないよね。
An unorthodox approach says there's a hidden mechanism for opening it, but besides the warden's room, there's little to investigate.
ゲームだと奇妙な石像や絵画があって何らかのアクションを起こすと道が開いたりするんですけど。
At least in video games, there's always a strange statue or painting or something you can push to open the way.
ここが牢獄であることを考えると分かりやすい仕掛けがあるはずもないでしょう。
Oh, given that this is a dungeon, it wouldn't make sense for the mechanism to be obvious anyway.
知ってさえいれば
Always
簡単に
wait for her.
知らないと絶対に見つけられ
She
ない。
takes pauses, obviously for other
例
reasons.
えばどこかの壁にスイッチがあると考えるのが妥当なのではと少女は自らの推理を語る。
Something simple once known, but otherwise impossible to locate. A wall switch, perhaps? Said the girl, sharing her personal theory.
確かにそうだね。これだけの広さだから壁に仕掛けを施せばバレる心配もほとんどないだろうし。
Makes sense. With how large this area is, it's unlikely that a hidden switch on a wall would be discovered.
じゃあ早速みんなで探してみようか。
Let's not waste any time and get to looking then.
ここで少しでもタンパク質を摂取しておかなければ体力不足は必至。
Harumph. If I do not at least consume some form of protein, I will surely lose my strength.
缶詰を食べるしかない。食べるしかないのですわ。
I have no choice. No choice, I say. I must partake in this canned food.
いざ
Here goes. Eat it. Eat it and like it. Munch, munch.
あらやだ、美味しいですわ。全然いけますわね、この焼き鳥感。
Well, I'll be. My palate is actually quite pleased. This tin of grilled chicken is rather passable indeed.
でもさすがにこのイワシ感は。
As for these sardines,
美味しいではありませんの。
why, they too are scrumptious.
缶詰など恐れるに足りませんわね。
Ho ho ho, gone is my dread for this canned cuisine. Gasp.
花の色は移りにけりないたずらに古き三好を食べる間に
Roses are red, violets are blue. Posh is enjoying an old can of food.
私で一句読むんじゃ。
Posh is enjoying an old can of food. I should have said it like that. I thought there was going to be another line after it. Dispense with your irrelevant nursery rhymes at once. After breakfast, we begin a thorough sweep of the dungeon. Several hours into the process, we fail to turn up much of anything.
布能くん、文学さん、監視室の調査はどうだった？
Incompetent bookworm, how did searching the warden's room go?
監視室の中には特に変わった仕掛けはなかったよ。壁にスイッチらしきものの影も形もないから、これ以上は調べても意味がないんじゃないかな。
We didn't find any mechanisms in particular. No trace of any switch on the walls either. I'm not so sure it's worth looking further.
ただ、暗闇で光る蛍光塗料を見つけたから入り口に塗ってみたんだ。
But we did coat the entrance with some phosphorescent paint we found.
これで深夜に監視室のトイレを使いたくなっても暗闇で迷わないと思う。
That way no one will get lost in the dark if they need to use the bathroom at night.
この力を明かりが消えると本当に何も見えなくなるもんね。助かるよ、ありがとう。
Great idea. You really can't see anything once the lights go off down here. Thanks, incompetent.
やはりだだっ広い壁をひたすら調べ続けるしかありませんねと少女は想像しただけで疲れる行為にげっそりしつつ言った。
We have no other option but to continue searching these massive walls, said the girl, disheartened by the mere thought of such a tiring prospect.
そっちはどう？何か仕掛けは見つかった？
How about on your end? Did you find anything?
ちょうど壁の調査が半分くらい終わったところだけど成果はゼロかな。 ほら、みんなあそこで調査を続けているよ。
We've covered about half of the wall, but no luck. Everybody's still looking right over there. I follow where Doleful indicates to see armor and the others running their hands along the walls.
この壁もおかしな様子はないのである。本当に隠し通路などあるのであろうか。
This mirror, too, seems perfectly ordinary. Is there truly a passageway hidden here?
気持ちはわかるけど、もう少し頑張ろう、武装君。
I understand how you feel, but let's keep up the effort, Armor.
洋館にあれだけ仕掛けがあったんだ。きっとこの地下牢にも何かしら仕掛けが施されているはずだよ。
There were plenty of contraptions in the manor. Certain this dungeon must have something of the sort as well.
社畜さんの言う通りです。この地下牢には妙な点が多すぎます。
Workaholic's right. This dungeon contains no shortage of oddities.
僕らが進んできた隠し通路は確実に地下へ地下へと進んでいきました。単なる牢獄にここまでの深さは必要ないはず。何か地下深く潜る理由がなければ納得できません。
The hidden passage we descended has to continue further underground. No normal prison would need to be this deep. There must be a reason behind it.
そうは言いましても、何度調べたところでどの牢屋も全く
This
同じ
lineup
構
looks
造
so
だったではあ
goofy.
りませんの。
You say as much, but after searching a myriad of cells, all we have discovered is that they share this exact same layout.
まさかこの場所は本当にただの牢獄だとでも言いますの？
I'm all but convinced this place is truly nothing more than a prison.
科学ちゃんの言う通り、単なる拘束が目的の地下室にしては隠し方が凝りすぎているわよね。
I agree with Techie. Something's fishy. This place is far too concealed to be just an underground holding area.
ちまちまちまちまもどかしいぜ。
Gah! Enough pussyfooting around already.
どうせ隠し通路はどっかの壁の奥に隠れてんだろ。
Pussyfooting.
片っ端から壁をぶち抜いてみ
What
る
a
とよく
phrase.
ねえか？
The passage is hiding behind one of these walls, right? Then let's just knock them all down.
それは危険だよ。この地下牢が崩落したら全員生き埋めになっちゃう。
That's too dangerous. We'd be buried alive if the place caved in.
明暗ですね。壁を蹴りつけてみましょう。と、少女は大和探偵の案に同意した。
A capital idea. Why don't we begin by kicking them? Said the girl, concurring with Rowdy Detective's suggestion.
文学さん、普段は冷静な君まで一体どうしちゃったの？
Bookworm, you're usually so level-headed. What's gone into you?
飛躍君、落ち着こう。きっと文学さんには考えがあるんだよ。
No need to get so worked up, Doleful. I'm sure Bookworm's onto something. Bookworm gives me a smile as she continues on.
隠し通路がある壁は奥が空洞になっているはず。つまり蹴った時の音が他とは違うはずです。と少女は自らの案を補足した。
The wall hiding the passage will be hollow. In other words, it'll sound different than the rest when struck, said the girl, detailing her plan. The old Legend of Zelda is smacking the walls with the sword technique.
なるほど。壁に広がる衝撃を調べようと思うなら、多少乱暴であっても蹴りつけるくらいの衝撃が必要よね。
I see. If we wish to sound out each wall, kicking them would generate the impact we need, even if the method's rather violent.
音の違いはわずかだと思いますけど、わかりそうですか？
The sound might only differ slightly. Are we sure we'll be able to tell?
ウサギの聴力を持ったこの大和探偵様をなめるんじゃねえぜ。藁の上に落ちた針の音だって聞き分けてみせろ。
You doubted my skills? I got the ears of a rabbit. I could hear a pin drop in a whole pile of straw.
ヤマトちゃんたら眠っている時に抱きつこうと忍び寄ってもすぐに気づいちゃうくらいだものね。本気で集中すれば本当にどんな音だって聞き分けちゃうわよ。
She even catches me when I try to sneak up and hug her goodnight. I'm sure she could hear any noise as long as she's focused on it.
忍び寄る。まあとにかくありがとう大和さん。責任重大な役を任せちゃってごめんよ。
You sneak up on her in her sleep? Actually, never mind. Thanks, Rowdy. Sorry to put so much pressure on you.
上等だよ。さっさと始めようぜ。
Heh, this is what I live for. Now let's get to it. With our plan in place, we take turns kicking the walls.
音が奥まで響いてね。次だ。
No echo behind that one. Next.
あんた、見かけによらず脚力もすげえのな。だが、音は奥まで響いてね。隠し通路はねえな。
Sheesh. Your legs are a lot stronger than they look. But I don't hear a thing. Ain't no passage in there.
肉体労働は苦手なんだけど。
I'm not too skilled at manual labor.
おいおい、そんな音じゃどちらにせよ響かねえぞ。社畜のおっさん、普段から足音も小せんだからシャキッとしろよな。
Oh, come on. A piddly kick like that ain't gonna echo worth squat. Get those twinkle toes of yours into gear, will ya?
ごめん。
Twinkle toes.
私は本当に頭脳労働以外はからっきしなんだよ。
Sorry. I'm pretty much helpless at anything outside of brain work.
よく見たけ？蹴りってな。
Watch and
こうや
learn.
るんだよ。
Watch and learn. This is how you kick.
すごい蹴り。絶対に蹴られたくない。
Wow, what a blow. I'd hate to be on the receiving end of that.
そしてビンゴだぜ。今音が壁の奥で響いていくのを感じた。
We got a hit. I definitely heard an echo that time.
この場所、ちょうど中央の壁に隠し通路がある。間違いね。
No doubt about it. There's a passage hiding right behind the center wall.
私の見立て通り、やはり隠し通路はあったようですわね。
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Just as I suspected, there is a hidden passage.
さあ皆さん、この隠し通路を解くためのスイッチをみんなで探しますわよ。
Come, come, everyone. Let us scour around for a switch that opens this passage.
ほら、飛躍さんもシャキッとなさい。探索があなたの得意技なのでしょ。今こそあなたの出番ですわ。
You as well, Doleful. Step to it. Locating things is your specialty, is it not? Now is your time to shine. Whoa. Doleful stumbles as Posh shoves him from behind. He loses his balance and falls on his butt. And then I hear something that gives me a bad vibe.
まさか飛躍くんがこけたところに隠し通路のスイッチが？
Wait, the switch was right where he fell. The hidden passage screeches open.
飛躍くんすごいよ。ナイスファインプレー。
Wow, Doleful, well done. I run over to Doleful, who's still on the floor, and help him up with a grateful hand. Now this was the makings of a great detective. Finding crucial clues without even meaning to? What an incredible power. Hopefully, we can now get out of this seedy underground maze. Thank goodness things took a turn for the better before our food ran out.
待て、ワト君。早まってはいけない。
Hold on, Watto. Don't be hasty. Holmes appears before me with a grave expression.
飛躍君の体質はただ重要なものを引き寄せるのではないだろう。
Uh-oh.
罠や証拠
Good
品と
point.
いった彼の身を危うくするもののみだ。
Doleful's ability isn't so simple as finding vital clues, remember? He only senses traps and evidence that threatens his life.
そんな彼が発見した通路ということは、通路が何かしらの事件の手がかりとなっているか、もしくはこの通路の奥に危険な何かが待ち受けていると考えるのが自然だろう。
Since he discovered the passage, one should naturally assume that it's either related to a case or that danger lurks up ahead. What?
さあ皆さん、リーダーである私に続きなさい。
Oh, well, without further ado, everyone follow the leader. That is to say, me.
こんな誇りっぽい地下なんてさっさと立ち
She
去るの
immediately
です
gets
わ。
like impaled with the trap. Let us leave this dust-ridden place at once.
ダメだよ家族さん。きっとこの通路には危険な何かがある。
Oh, wait, Posh, there's definitely something dangerous down there. Huh? Oh. Suddenly, the image of Posh splattered in blood flashes before me. My denouement has shown me the future. This vision will soon become reality.
危ない。
Watch out! Ah! I yank Posh's arm back without a second to spare. Sharp metal spikes. Oh, I was right. Then dart out right where Posh was standing mere moments ago. If I hadn't grabbed her, if I hadn't seen the future, she would have died on the spot.
通路から何が飛び出してきましたの？
Something's coming out of the passage. Isn't that the robot voice? As if in response to Posh, mechanical whirling rings out from the tunnel. Whirring. I've heard this sound before, but before I have time to ponder, its source appears directly in front of us. Eliminate. It's one of those things. The color and size are different, but it's the same type of machine that took Holmes' life. Great. A mechanical noise, identical to that black robot's call, resounds through the dungeon. This one is pure white, smaller and around my height, no more than 5.5 feet max. But the sound, which alone makes my hair stand on end, and the robotic murderous intent I sense from it are just as I recall. The image of Holmes' death flashes unbidden in my mind. Unbidden. I know we have to flee, but my body won't move. My traumatic fear dulls my reflexes. If I don't act fast, I'll... How about you? Bring it, you pile of scrap. Armor and Rowdy leap in front of me. What could they be planning? Hey, Armor, you know the drill. First, let us ponder after the opening blow is struck. They slam their fists into the mech at the same time, sending it flying back down the passageway. Both of them are bursting with energy despite having just bashed a remarkably harsh surface. They really give Iron Fist a new meaning. But that's beside the point. What are you doing? You could get killed. Hey, I know how dangerous this is, but then this numbskull here popped up in front of me. I could not resist the urge to charge forth. Forgive me, Sir Incompetent. Their words are blunt and unvarnished, much like them, but ultimately, they've lessened the shock of the surprise attack and bought us time to think. I'll have to remember to thank the two of them. Here come those rotten spikes! My corselet shall forestall them anon! Spikes fire down the passage, striking Armor's metal exterior. True to his words, they don't even leave a scratch. All of a sudden, the spikes begin to flash. Armor! Armor drops as the white mech reappears out of the passage. Upon closer inspection, I can see 3 vents on its body like air holes. Black wires trail from each one. The wires connect to the spikes that struck Armor and are now retracting into its body. There's also a camera-like device atop its head, which watches us intently. What is this machine? It looks like a metal can that's been painted a blinding white, and yet that camera freezes me in my tracks. It's precisely because of its simplicity that I can tell. This mech is incredibly deadly. Everyone, those spikes are charged with a powerful electric current, like a stun gun. Don't let them touch you. Yo, Armor, you good? His armor conducted the charge, but he'll be fine. Still, it was enough to knock him out. Direct hit from the spikes could mean instant death. So, one false step and we're done for. How do we get out of this one? I'll distract it. Get Armor to safety in the meantime. Doleful shouts as he steps in front of the rushing mech. Doleful, what are you doing? My danger magnet is probably to blame for this whole mess. I'm not going to let anyone else die from this ability.
飛躍君離れていてくれ。踊り役なら私が引き受ける。みんなで戦おう。
Get back, Doleful. I'll act as a distraction. We can fight this thing together.
アホか。蹴りもまともにできないやつにおとり役を任せられるかよ。俺がおとりになるからフォロー役に回りな。
You can't even lend a solid kick, moron. Like hell I'm gonna let you play decoy. I've got it, just back me up.
そうですよ。僕の聞き察知能力は知っているでしょ。絶対に生き延びてみせますから、僕とヤマトさんに任せてください。
She's right. Remember how I can sense danger? Guaranteed to survive. Just leave this to me and Rowdy.
それはできないよ。私も今ではこのグループの最年長だからね。
Sorry, but no can do. As it stands, I have the highest seniority in this group.
それに筋力は弱いけど、実践の経験はそれなりに豊富なんだ。
And despite my physical shortcomings, I actually have quite a lot of combat experience.
なら好きにしろよ。俺は先に行くからな。
Fine, have it your way. I'm going in. Oh shit, what a leap. Workaholic and Rowdy plunge in, fighting the white mech to buy us some time. It pivots on its treads, then advances towards them. Spikes shoot out at Rowdy, who is the closest target.
点での攻撃なんざ当たるかよ。俺をぶっ刺したいなら面で攻撃してみるんだな。
You really think that'll work? If you want to kill me, face me head on! Rowdy throws out a taunt as she launches herself to the side, dodging the spikes with ease. She's so agile you'd think she was a cat. And she doesn't stop there either. As the mech retracts the spikes with its wires, Rowdy slips through its defenses in a flash.
武装の兄さんの仇取らせてもらうぜ。
This one's for my pal Armor!
ダメだヤマトさん伏せろ。
Wait, Rowdy, duck!
あ
Huh? At that instant, a long spike thrusts out from the white mech. It grazes Rowdy's head, who ducked just in time before retracting into its body. Severed strands of hair dangle in midair. Not only does it fire bullet-like spikes, it also has a spear for close-range stabbing. Workaholic's warning and Rowdy's reflexes save her life, but a Claude like me would have absolutely been skewered. Realizing she's at a disadvantage, Rowdy jumps back, putting some distance between herself and the mech. Without missing a beat, fires more long-range spikes at Rowdy, but they don't connect. She nimbly dodges them once again. There's a limit to her stamina though. She can't go on forever. Eventually both of them will end up killed. We need a way to break the impasse.
この時こそエンドシーイングで未来を予知すれば打開策も見えてくるんじゃ。
Oh, right. This is the perfect time to see the future with my denouement. Maybe I'll find a solution there.
落ち着けワト君。今この状況で最も求められるのは冷静な思考だ。
Stay calm, Watto. More than anything else, you'll need to keep a cool head in dire straits. Holmes peers into my face, derailing my train of thought.
エンドシーイングは未来での結果だけを見る力。過程を把握できない以上、今ここで見たところで意味はない。
The denouement only
周囲に迷惑をかけるだけだ。
The denouement only reveals the outcome. It's of no use if you can't grasp the process. You'd only incapacitate yourself, doing more harm than good.
探偵には常に冷静に現実を見極める判断力が必要なんだよ。
Detectives must always examine reality with a presence of mind before passing judgment.
仲間が死ぬかもしれない時に冷静じゃいられないでしょ。
You think I can just stay calm when my friends are about to die? I snap back harder than I mean to, my own volume surprising me. I ask Holmes another question in a quieter voice.
この力について何か知ってるんですよね。あのメカのことも知ってるんじゃないですか。教えてくださいよ。あのメカの対策を。
You know something about this dungeon, don't you? Or about that mech, maybe? Please tell me how to beat it.
知っているならムザムザと殺されたりしないさ。
If I knew that, I wouldn't have been cut down so easily.
それはそうですけど。
That's a fair point.
だが眼前の脅威の対策ならばわかるよ。奴の発する音に耳を傾けてみるといい。
But I do know how to face the threat before us. Listen to the noise that eyesore is making. The noise?
無毛探偵独り言ばかり口にして 頭大丈夫ですか？少女は心配そうに顔を覗き込んだ。
Incompetent detective, you're talking to yourself. Is your head on right? Asked the girl, examining his face with a look of concern. Bookworm noticed me acting strangely enough to warrant pointing it out. I doubt she heard what I said, so I'd better make up an excuse.
ごめん、平気だよ。あのメカを止める手段がないかと頭の中でいろいろとシミュレートしてみたんだ。
Sorry, I'm fine. I've been simulating options in my mind for stopping that mech.
ああ、シミュレートはあなたの得意技だそうですね。少女は納得する。
Right. Simulating is your specialty after all, said the girl, fully convinced.
そうなんだよ。そしたらなんだかあのメカが走っている音に違和感がある気がして。
Yeah, I've already noticed something off about that noise it makes.
なるほど。それでは確認してみましょう。というと少女は目を閉じ聴覚に神経を集中させる。
Interesting. Let me check, said the girl, closing her eyes and focusing all of her attention on her oral faculties. Bookworm then performs the very action she had just narrated.
文学さんは何を？
What is she doing?
さすがは文学くんだ。音の違和感というヒントだけ気づけたか。
Classic Bookworm. All you did was give her a hint about the noise. She immediately knew what to do.
ちなみに私への返答は声に出さずとも心の中で呼びかければいいぞ。君の心の声は私に届いているのだからな。
Incidentally, you do realize you can answer me without speaking aloud, don't you? I can hear your thoughts, remember?
早く言ってくださいよ。
Oh, why didn't you tell me that sooner? Bookworm remains focused, listening to the noise as Holmes and I go back and forth.
読了です。
Read like an open book.
科学探偵、ボイスレコーダーで機械音を録音し 0.1 倍の速さで再生することは可能ですか？
Techie, can you record that
少女は尋ねた。
that whirring and play it back at 1/10 of the speed? Asked the girl.
0.1 倍の速さで？わかりました。やってみます。
You said a tenth? Okay, I'll give it a try. Techie connects his D-pad to his wheelchair with a cord and begins to operate it. The wheelchair, which apparently has built-in speakers, begins to play the audio recorded on his D-pad.
次は再生速度を下げます。
Now, I'll lower the playback speed. We all stare agape when Techie slows it down.
風の通り道は3つのうち1つだけ。風の通り道は3つのうち1つだけ。
The wind passes through only one of three. The wind passes through only one of three.
八つ咲校の
Is that the Quartering Duke's voice? It's identical to the one I've heard in all the Quartering Duke's videos. As for what it's actually saying,
やはりメッセージを発信していたのですね。と少女は自らの推理が正しかったことに安堵した。
as I thought, it's broadcasting a message, said the girl, relieved that her hunch was correct.
あのメカが寸分たがわず同じ音声を繰り返していたことは記憶を照らし合わせることで分かりました。
I could tell by cross-referencing with my memory that the exact same audio was being played on repeat down the last phone on.
つまり何か意図を持って発している音、周囲へのメッセージなのだと思ったのです。
Otherwise,
少女は自らの行動の
every time she gets in.
理由を補足した。
otherwise stated, the machine is transmitting this on purpose, making it a message for those nearby, said the girl, further elaborating.
すごいよ。さすがは文学さん。
Wow, reliable as always, Bookworm. I take her hand without a second thought, singing her praises. She responds without looking at me.
問題はここからです。 あの
flustered.
言葉の意味を読み解かないと。少女は愚かな無能探偵はとても冷静に諭すのであった。
There's just one issue. We have to figure out what the words actually mean, said the girl, calmly rebuking the dim, incompetent detective.
そうだね。風の通り道は3つのうち1つだけってどういう意味だろう。
Right. The wind passes through only one of three. What does that even mean?
危ねえ、避けろ社畜のおっさん。
Workaholic, get out of the way, Pops! Workaholic is sent flying by the mech's tackle. A flurry of shots rings out like gunfire. Machine fires its spikes, aiming to strike Workaholic the moment he lands. I don't even have time to shout his name as the spikes bear down on him. But then...
やっと罠にかかってくれたね。
So, you finally stepped into my trap, eh? The spikes stop a hair's breadth away from his face.
どうして針が。
Huh? What happened to the spikes?
よーく目を凝らして見てごらんよ。
Take a good long look.
ワイヤーが針に巻きついている。
They're wrapped in wire. I follow Renegade's advice and look closer, spying the glint of a wire wound around the spike. That very wire is also extending out of Workaholic's wristwatch.
洋館の罠にも使われていたワイヤーソーで針を絡め取ったんだよ。
He stopped the spikes using the same wire saw used in that trap at the manor.
社畜探偵はわざと隙を作って針を発射させたんだろうね。さあ、面白いのはここか。
Workaholic detective must have created a small gap before tricking it into firing its spikes. Things are really heating up now. The mech moves around, beeping and whirring as it I hate whirring as a word. Whirring as it drags the wire and Workaholic both in a frantic attempt to retract its spikes. Workaholic does his best to maintain his balance, but his face is contorted in pain.
社畜ちゃんがいつまで時間を稼ぐのか。お手並み拝見といこうか。
Let's see just how much time Workaholic can buy, shall we?
何をバカなことを言っていますの。早くあのメカを破壊してでも社畜さんを助け出しますわよ。
What compels you to spew such nonsense? We'll be turning that automaton into scrap and rescuing Workaholic at once.
私が先駆けとなりますわ。皆さんもついていらっしゃい。
I shall take the lead. Everyone on my mark.
やめておいた方がいいよ。弾丸型の針はそうそう当たらないかもしれないけど、近づいた時に飛び出してくる針は凶悪だ。
I wouldn't if I were you. Those bullet spikes might not land, but get too close and you'll be gored by that brutal spear.
ヤマトちゃんみたいな野生児でもなければ、一瞬でモズの早煮えになるのがオチだね。
Without Rowdy's feral ferocity, you've returned into a pincushion.
それはそうかもしれませんけど。
I'll concede that point. It's frustrating, but Renegade Detective is right. Anyone charging in without a plan will get the tables turned on them for sure. Clearly, there's no choice but to solve the riddle we found in its transmission.
風の通り道は3つのうち1つだけ。
The wind passes through only one of three.
3つの風穴というのはおそらくメカのボディの穴。その中の1つに弱点があるということではないかしら。
The three must refer to the holes on its body. Perhaps one of those is a weak point.
それに違いありませんわ。では早速あの穴を攻撃してみますわよ。
That must be it. Hi. Let us assail those orifices apace. Excuse me?
待って家族さん。間違った穴を攻撃したらまずいと思う。
Oh wait, Posh. If we don't choose the correct target, we'll probably end up regretting it.
無能君の言う通りだよ。高圧の電流を武器とするメカ相手に間違った穴に攻撃を仕掛けてごらん。
Incompetent's right. What do you think will happen if you hit the wrong hole on a mech that uses high voltage weaponry?
きっと内部の電流に感電して真っ黒焦げさ。まあそれはそれで面白い光景だけどね。
The shock would roast you to a crisp. Not to say that wouldn't be entertaining too.
ヤマトちゃん、お願いがあるの。
I have a request, Rowdy. Gourmet calls out to Rowdy, who has been maintaining her distance from the mech. She locks eyes with her, speaking in an uncharacteristically serious tone.
5秒の間だけ、そのメカの動きを止めてちょうだい。
Can you stop that machine from moving for a bit? All I need is 5 seconds.
相変わらず無茶を言うぜ。10秒だけで勘弁してくれよな。
Ah, get out of here. Ask me for 10 at least. Rowdy turns back to the mech and sprints towards Workaholic.
社畜のおっさん、そのままワイヤーを掴んでてくれ。
Hey, Pops, don't let go of that wire, capiche?
何を？
Huh? What are you... She then grabs the arm Workaholic is using to hold the wire saw and pivots her hips as if swinging a bat. Up until then, the white mech had been pulling Workaholic by his wire, but now, scales have tipped. Does Rowdy plan to drag the mech around?
介護時のパワーじゃ。
Mechanical power?
おりゃ止められてんだよ。
Ain't gonna stop me! Rowdy bellows as she snaps her arms down. The mech topples over, pulled by the wire. The sound of metal scraping against the floor booms through the underground passage. She actually managed to stop the mech from moving with nothing but raw brute strength. The mech, durable as it is, stubbornly attempts to pick itself up, but it's already too late.
ナイスよ、ヤマトちゃん。
Nicely done, Rowdy! In Gourmet's hand is the knife she always carries around with her. What is she planning to do with that?
はい、ごちそうさま。
Bon appetit! She thrusts the blade as hard as she can into one of the mech's holes. The mech makes a robotic cry of distress. The sound then breaks apart, growing steadily quieter. Finally, light on the camera shuts off and the mech ceases to make any noise.
お粗末様でした。と。
I believe it said, check, please. Gourmet takes her knife out of the hole, wiping it clean with a napkin before returning it to her pocket. The rest of us are left dumbstruck by how swiftly all that just transpired.
すげえよ、姉さん。どうして弱点が分かったんだ？
Oh, way to let him have it, sis. How'd you know which one was the weak spot? Rowdy breaks the silence and clings on to Gourmet, who begins explaining as she comforts her.
簡単な話よ。みんなが話している間、私はあの3つの穴から漂ってくる匂いを嗅いでいたの。
It was simple. While all of you were talking, I sniffed out the different odors coming from the 3 holes.
するとね、穴の中に一つだけ金属ではなくゴムの風味が感じられたわ。つまりこの白ケーキちゃんの動作に関連した大切なケーブルが隠れていると思ったわけ。
Only one smelled of rubber and metal, so I assumed there was an essential cable in there that allowed this big dollop of frosting to operate properly.
匂いなら俺も嗅いでたけど、そんな匂い全然しなかったぞ。
I gave it a whiff too, but I didn't catch that at all.
もう私は美食探偵なのよ。鉄分とゴムの味くらい簡単に分かって当然じゃない。
I'm gourmet detective, remember? Goes without saying that I can easily catch the subtle flavors of iron and rubber. Gourmet laughs as if it's no big deal, but iron and rubber, for that matter, aren't foods at all. But I'll choose to keep that comment to myself.
科学君、このメカの検証を頼めるかな。
Techie, can you inspect this machine?
はい、任せてください。
Yes, leave it to me.
嫁の活躍できなかった。
I didn't contribute at all. Again.
何を言っているのだ。飛躍殿は他の皆々が推理している間に我を安全な場所まで運んでくれたではないか。
What Lindsay Wolsey do you speak? Was it not you who carried me to safety whilst the rest contended with this quandary?
本当に活躍できなかったのは我の方である。ここから活躍し、何としてでも汚名を返上せねば。
'Twas I who contributed nothing. Thus, shall I heretofore endeavor to erase the stain from my legacy?
鎧の庶民の言う通りですわ。何もできずに歯がゆいのは私も同じですが、決して引け目に感じたりしませんわよ。
The metal-plated peasant is correct. While I too am peeved at my own inability to act, that is no reason to let it make me feel inferior.
だってこの借りを返すほどの活躍をすればいいだけなのですからね。
Instead, I'll do all that I can to get payback, so as to pay back my debt, that is.
家族さんは強い人だね。
Posh, your resolve is incredible.
さっきはありがとうと少女は無能探偵へのお礼を口にする。
Thank you for your help earlier, said the girl, expressing her gratitude to incompetent detective.
ノンバクさん、さっきはって何のこと？
Me? What'd I do, Bookworm?
あなたが音のヒントを出してくれなかったら、謎を解くのに時間がかかって怪我人が出ていたかもしれません。
If you hadn't given me that clue about the sound it was making, we may have never solved this mystery. People could have gotten hurt.
少しだけ見直しましたよと言って
There's
少
like
女は微笑みかける。
there's a small part of me that feels like what it was saying and the thing about the holes in the wind. Like, I feel like that's for something else. They're just assuming it was this, but like it seems like, I mean, maybe it is the case, but like why would such like an interesting little like nugget be just, oh, it's a way to take me out kind of thing and just stab a certain hole? Like, I bet it comes back somehow or is for something else. That is my theory right now. Maybe you aren't so incompetent after all, said the girl with a smile. Bookworm's smile causes my heart to lurch. That clue didn't actually come from me. Holmes was the one who told me about it, while I didn't do a single thing at all.
ありがとう。少しでも活躍できるようにもっと頑張るよ。
Thanks. I'll keep trying my best to pitch in however I can. Nevertheless, I expressed my gratitude. Carrying this dismay in my heart, I vow to become a proper detective in my own right.
下道探偵、君ならすぐにあのメカの動作を止めることができたんじゃないのか？
Renegade detective, couldn't you have disabled that machine from the get-go?
俺を買いかぶりすぎだよ。そんなに俺が信じられないなら首輪を起動させればいいじゃないか。
You overestimate my abilities. If that's how little you trust me, go ahead and activate my collar.
それとも起動しないのではなくできないのかな。首輪を起動させるための条件を知らない、もしくは条件を達成させることが困難な状態とかね。
Though, maybe it's not that you won't do it, but that you can't? Is it because you don't know the conditions, or is fulfilling them just that tough?
勘違いしないでくれ。私は君のことを仲間だと信じている。信じたいとも思う。だからこそ本心を知りたいだけなんだよ。
Let me be clear. I believe we're on the same team, or I'd like to anyway. That's why I want to learn what's going through your head.
なんだっていいさ。俺が今そそられているのは一人、いや、二人だけだから放っておいてくれ。
What are you going on about? Only one, no, two people are making me tingle right now. So do me a favor and ease off, hmm?
無能くんとあの子をどうすれば俺たち側へ引き込めるか気になって仕方がないんだよ。
Gah. I wonder what it'll take to get incompetent other special someone over to our side. Interesting. We begin investigating the tunnel the mech appeared from.
無能君、何か見つかったかい？
Find anything incompetent? I read that weird.
それが例のメカのバッテリーを充電する装置らしきものがあるくらいで他には何も見つかりません。
There's something that looks like a charging station for the mech's batteries, but that's about it.
なるほど。それであのメカはこんな場所に長年放置されていても元気に動き回れたというわけだね。
I see. That would explain how it managed to function so smoothly, even after being left in this place for who knows how long.
地下牢の塵や埃の溜まり具合から考えても 放置されていた期間は1年や2年といったレベルじゃない。相当に腕のいい人が開発したことが伺えるよ。
Judging from the amount of dust and refuse, it was here a lot longer than just 1 or 2 years. The R&D for this thing must have been incredible.
せっかく隠し扉を見つけたのに、ただのトラップだったんでしょうか。
So after all that, the hidden passageway was just a trap?
いや、それにしては手が込みすぎているよ。侵入者を撃退したいと思うなら、わざわざ隠し通路に仕掛ける必要もないだろう。
No, that would be far too much effort. There's no need to create an entire hidden passage for the solitary purpose of repelling intruders.
この通路に隠された何かを守る意味合いがあったと考えるのが自然だ。もっとも、この暗さでは何かあったとしても見つけようがない。
It'd make more sense if this was designed to protect something within the passage, not that they'll ever find it in this darkness.
科学君に証明でも作ってもらった後に、また改めて調査をするのが良さそうだね。
We should have Techie build us some sort of light source before giving us another look. The group takes turns resting and searching, but all we manage to find is the cable for charging the mech. There is nothing else of note, nor any clues leading to another hidden passage. For all the progress we thought we made, there's little to show for it. Today's efforts were in vain and everybody's looking fatigued.
皆さんどうなさいましたの？表情に気合が感じられませんわよ。
What is the matter with you people? Wipe off those long faces and show some spirit.
家族さん、
Posh.
いつから隣にいましたの？
How long have you been standing by me?
ずっといたよ。影が薄いだけでね。
The whole time? Sorry, I have a tendency to blend in with the shadows.
まったく、あのメカと戦っていた時くらいの存在感を普段から出しておきなさい。
Oh, push tush. You certainly stood out well enough during our fight with that automaton. Learn to comport yourself thusly.
ごめん、前処するよ。
My apologies. I'll work on it.
ところで、今日はもう調査を切り上げたいと思うんだけど、どうかな。今日は例のメカとの戦いもあったし、みんな疲れていると思うんだ。
Moving on, how about we wrap things up for today? We're all still tired from fighting that mech early after all.
それはそうですが、食料に限りもありますのに、ここでこれ以上時間を使ってしまうのは。
While that may be true, our food supply is dwindling, and we've spent more than enough time down here as is.
その方がいいと思います。これ以上今日調査を続けるのは危険です。
I think we should stop for now too. It would be dangerous to investigate any further today.
科学君、浮かない顔をしてどうしたの？もしかして例のメカを調べて何か分かったとか？
Techie, why do you look so down? Was there something you found while checking the mech?
はい、大変なことが分かりました。
Yes, I discovered something troubling.
あの白い子の名前は SPX-01C。 正真正銘探偵同盟の技術を利用して開発した機体です。
That white mech is tagged with the designation SPX-01C. Its frame was developed using genuine Detective Alliance technology.
探偵同盟の技術を？どうして探偵同盟がこんなものを？
DA tech? Why would the Alliance be involved in something like that?
それは分かりません。ですが、僕は探偵同盟の技術協力を受けた際に SPX シリーズと呼ばれる警備ロボットの資料を読んだことがあります。
I don't know, but I did come across files about a series of sentry robots under the name SPX back when I received tech support from the DA.
それじゃあまさかこのメカは本当に探偵同盟が作ったってこと？
So, the one we ran into really was built by the Detective Alliance?
いえ、そこまでは分かりません。仕組みさえ分かれば取り入れるのは難しくない技術ですから。
I'm not so certain about that. If somebody understands the mechanics, they could easily apply the same technology elsewhere. Techie proceeds to tell me everything he can recall about the SPX Sentry Robot series. It uses map databanks and laser sensors within its body to survey its surroundings and search for targets as it moves about. Upon identifying a target, it switches to pursuit mode and hunts them down, neutralizing all in its way until it loses track of its prey long enough. Holmes must have died due to that black SPX being in pursuit mode, but what was that machine anyway? why it had been deployed there, and what caused it to activate pursuit mode. We need to get out of here quickly, or we'll never solve the mystery behind Holmes' death.
無能さんは追跡遊具クンクンくんを覚えてますか？
Incompetent, you remember my friend Sniffy Whiffy, right? Yeah. Unfortunately, I remember.
クローラーがついていて血の匂いを追跡するフレンズだよね。
Of course. That was the one that could trace the scent of blood, right?
ええ、あのフレンズのクローラーは探偵同盟から技術提供を受けて取り入れたものです。
Correct. Sniffy Whiffy's treads incorporate technologies that were provided by the DA.
例の白い SPX にはそのクローラーと全く同じ技術が使われていました。探偵同盟が開発に関わったことは間違いありません。
The same tech was used for that white SPX, which more or less confirms that the Alliance was involved in its development.
そしてシリーズと関する以上他にも複数体の SPX が存在するはずです。もしかしたらこの地下室の中にもまだ。
The word series suggests the existence of multiple SPX models, some of which could possibly even be down here, underground.
こんな危ないメカがまだ他にも。
You're telling me there are more of those deadly things? The thought alone makes me shudder. All of us had to work together just to knock that last one out of commission. I don't even want to imagine running into another during our investigation, not when we're all this exhausted.
ありがとう科学君。君が継承してくれて本当に助かったよ。
Thanks, Techie. Your analysis really helps.
家族さん、社畜さんの言う通り、今日はもう休みましょう。
Workaholic's right, Posh. Let's stop for today.
今の状態では別の SPX に勝てないかもしれません。でも、皆さんが万全の状態なら、きっとまた勝てると思うんです。
We probably couldn't take on another SPX in our current condition, but I'm sure that'll change once we're back to full strength.
我も無能殿に賛成である。焦りは油断を、油断は思わぬ怪我につながるものだからな。
I'm in accord with Sir Incompetent. Haste leads to carelessness, which in turn leads to unforeseen endangerment.
僕も賛成。家族さんの気持ちもわかるけど、今日は休もう。
I'm with them. I get where you're coming from, Posh, but let's just call it a day.
少女は無言のまま皇帝の意志を込めてうなずいてみせた。
The girl nods her assent without a word.
リーダーである私よりも無能な庶民への賛同者が多いだなんてどういうことですの？
More of you are willing to side with an incompetent commoner rather than me, your chief? What is the meaning of this?
SPX を倒せたのも無能君の気づきがあってこそだしね。まあそんな気にせずに。
Incompetent's little epiphany is what allowed us to beat the SPX in the first place. Please don't take it too personally.
気にしてなどおりませんわ。私が庶民に嫉妬するなどありえません。
I would never dream of such a thing. Me, envious of some base-born rotorer? Inconceivable. Rotorer? Posh's surliness strikes me as a bit peculiar, but either way, we suspend our search for the day, like Workaholic first suggested.
看守室に簡単な調理器具があったわ。缶詰ばかりの食事も寂しいし、私が簡単に夕食を作るから、みんなで集まって食べましょう。
There were some simple cooking implements in the warden's room. Having nothing but canned food is a bit sad, so what say I whip us up a group meal?
あれさんに飯を作ってもらえるなんて最高だぜ。またこの通路に集まりゃいいんだよな。
Woo! Hoo! Dinner a la gourmet. Ain't nothing better. We're gonna eat in this Oh.
看守室は狭いし、椅子も
I
足り
hit
な
a
いか
button on
ら、
accident.
ここにみんなで集まって食べましょ
I was
う。無能
whipping
ちゃんや
around
グ
the
ンラク
controller.
さんも
I'll get
来
back
て
to
くれる
the...
でしょ。
Would it be... Let me see what the button for log is. Yeah, I hit L1 for fast forward. Yeah, on accident I hit L1. I know what button I had hit. Backlog is triangle. I think I just got woohoo, dinner lagomore. We're going to eat in this passage again, question mark. And then she says, sure, let's do that. The warden's room can be a bit cramped and there aren't enough chairs there. Competent bookworm, you'll join us, won't you?
はい、喜んで。文学さんも一緒に食べるよね。
Yeah, I'd love to. Same goes for you, right, bookworm?
少女は何も言わず ただ一度思考を返した。
The girl said nothing, only nodding once in agreement.
我々ももちろんご一緒するのである。みんなでこたびの勝利を祝そうではないか。
Naturally, I shall sup with you as well. Let us toast to our victory.
僕がいるとまた例の警備ロボットみたいな危険と遭遇するかもしれないし。
If I come along, we might end up running into another one of those sentry robots.
ヤマトさんがいれば SPX の駆動音にだって気づけるはずです。むしろ今はみんなで集まって行動した方が良いと思いますよ。
Well, with Rowdy there, we'll definitely know if something's coming. Besides, it'd be best for all of us to stick together right now.
科学君の言う通りだ。単独行動をしていて、みんなの気づかない場所で SPX と遭遇することだけは避けないと。
Teki is absolutely correct. We need to avoid acting alone in order to eliminate the chance of encountering an SPX outside of everyone's notice.
だから、今日ばかりは単独は控えてもらえるよね。家族さんに下道君。
So no going off on our own tonight. Do I make myself clear, Posh? Renegade?
私はただ例の通路に忘れ物をしたから取りに行こうとしただけですわ。一人でも調査を続けようなどとは思っていません。
I merely forgot something in the passage and sought to retrieve it. I certainly had no intention of resuming the investigation solo.
命じられるのは趣味じゃないけど、今日は素直に従うとするよ。俺もじっくりと観察したい人がいるからね。
I don't make a habit of following orders, but I'll be a good boy for today. Besides, I've got someone to keep an eye on. And so, we all gather to eat dinner together. Despite the meager ingredients, Gourmet makes us delicious dishes from a Russian homeland. A newfound strength flows through my tired body. Everyone is all smiles, and the conversation never dies down over the course of the meal. Holmes, however, broods all the while. All the while.
ホームズさん、何を考え込んでいるんですか？
What's on your mind, Holmes?
妙な予感がするんだ。君たちは着実に前へ進めているはず。
Just an odd premonition. For all intents and purposes, you should be making headway.
なのになぜかこの先に袋小路が待ち受けている予感がしてならないんだよ。私にはもうエンドシーイングは使えないのだがね。
And yet, I can't help but feel that an impasse lies ahead. Not that I can actually use the denouement anymore, of course.
平気ですよ。あなたの代わりに僕がちゃんと未来を見ますから。
That's okay. I can see the future in your place now.
誰も死なせたりしません。僕がこの力でみんなを守り抜きます。
No one else is dying if I can help it. I'll use this power to protect us all of
エン
us.
ドシーイングを過信してはいけないぞ、ワト君。
You mustn't over-rely on the denouement, Watto.
先ほどの SPX との戦闘でも言ったが、起こりうる結果を見たからといって未来を変えられるとは限らない。時には分かっていても避けられない結果もある。
Like I said during the battle with the SPX, seeing a potential future doesn't mean you can change it. Some outcomes are unavoidable.
避けられない結果。
Unavoidable outcomes? I think I grasp what she's saying, but it doesn't really mean much to me. During our fight with the SPX, the outcome of stopping it didn't matter as much as the process of identifying and striking its weak point. But wouldn't knowing the SPX's outcome naturally mean I know the process that leads to it?
今頭の中で考えている内容も全部私には入ってくるぞ。まあ腑に落ちないのもわかる。私もかつてはそうだったからね。
Don't forget, I can hear everything that goes on in your head. I understand that it may not make sense. I felt that way myself once.
ごめんなさい。
Sorry. Flustered, I apologize to Holmes, who had been listening in the entire time. Her expression grows downcast as she whispers softly.
いずれ君も経験をするさ。必ずね。
You'll experience it soon enough. I'm sure of it. That sounds like a threat. I've never seen her face look so somber. In time, evening comes.
科学君？
Teki? As I leave my cell to go use the warden room shower, I see Teki working on something in the open area where we had eaten earlier. I'm surprised to see what's in front of him.
科学君、それって。
Teki, is that?
はい、例の白い SPX です。この先に何があるか分かりませんから、 可能な限り分解して調べておこうと思ったんです。
The SPX from earlier, yeah. We don't know what we'll run into going forward, so figured I'd dismantle and learn as much as I can.
一人でこんな大きいものを分解しているの？
You're taking that big hulking machine apart all by yourself?
安心してください。一人じゃありませんよ。
Don't worry, I've got some extra hands.
科学の坊ちゃん、監修室から椅子と工具箱を持ってきたぜ。
Hey,
この
kid.
椅子の上に工具箱を置いておきゃいいんだよな。
Hey, kid. I got the stuff from the Warren's room. I'll just leave the toolbox on the chair, yeah?
我は言われた通り、針に結びつけられていたワイヤーをちぎってきたのである。
And I've successfully sundered the wire from the spike as you bade me.
お手伝いをしてくれてありがとうございます、二人とも。僕は力仕事が苦手なのでとても助かります。
Thanks a bunch, you two. Physical labor isn't really my forte, so I appreciate the help.
武装さんとヤマトさんが手伝っていたんだね。どう？何かいい情報は見つかった？
Oh, so Rowdy and Armor are your helpers? Well, have you learned anything interesting?
ええ、バッチリ解析できました。電源のコードが切れて機能を停止させただけみたいで、内部の基板には傷一つついていませんでしたから。
I just completed my analysis. We thankfully only severed the power cord, so there wasn't any damage done to the internal circuitry.
異色の姉さんがナイフを突き刺した穴の先にはコードがあったってわけか？警備ロボットのくせにそんな明確な弱点を作るなんざ理解できねえな。
So there was only a cord where Gourmet knifed it? But ain't this some kind of sentry robot? Weird that it have such an obvious weak spot.
推測ですが、誤って組織の関係者を襲った場合の安全装置なのだと思います。
I
コード
suspect
が切れた程度ならすぐに修理が可能ですし。
I suspect it may be a safety precaution in the event that a member of the organization is under attack. Plus, it's simple to repair.
科学殿、先ほど頼まれてワイヤーからちぎったこの針、妙に軽いぞ。金属が使われているのは先端だけなのであるか？
Good Sir Techie, I procured the wire as you bespoke, but the spike itself is oddly light. Mayhap 'tis only the tip that is metal?
いえ、感電させる必要があるので、内部にも軽い金属の芯が入っていると思います。ですが、軽量化のためにほとんどは強化プラスチック製みたいですね。
No, it has to be conducted to deliver shock, so it likely has a metal core, but the shell's mostly reinforced plastic to reduce overall weight.
ほら、この迎撃用の長い針も羽みたいに軽いですよ。動きが鈍くならないよう必要な箇所以外は軽量化しているんでしょうね。
Look, this interceptor spike's light as a feather too. I'd imagine the same applies to all but the most vital areas to keep the SPX at peak agility.
本当だ。全然重さを感じないね。
Oh, you're right. This isn't heavy at all? This isn't heavy at all. I mean, upon taking the long spike from Techie, I'm shocked by how lightweight it is. These spikes seemed as vicious as a beast's claws when we were attacked, but holding one now, it feels more like a toy.
あれほどの戦闘力を持ちながら実態はハリボテも同然とは。苦戦した身としてはもどかしい気持ちなのである。
They're quite formidable during battle, but in reality are quite flimsy. To think they caused me to flounder so. Woe is me.
軽量化は武器の基本だ。極論、その針は先端をさせりゃ電流で相手を倒せるんだから、先端以外を軽くするのは当然だろうぜ。
This is a real featherweight weapon. All you gotta do is stab him with the end and shock him with a zap. No wonder that thing's so dang light.
先端を重くすりゃ射出するのにも有利だしな。
Giving it a weighted tip also makes her better shooting, you feel me?
なるほど。凶器として効率のいい構造なんだね。
Makes sense. It's a very streamlined design, huh? The more we learn, the more I realize how deadly these spikes truly are. I don't understand why the DA would have created something like this.
にしても腹が立つメーカーだよな。いくら安全装置が用意されているからって探偵同盟のメンバーに襲いかかるなんてよ。
Anyways, these mechs sure have me wound up. Who cares how many safety features they got? They still attacked us DA members.
警備ロボットだって言うならちゃんと仲間か敵かの判断くらいしとけってんだ。
How can you call this a sentry robot when it can't even tell an ally from an enemy?
それは仕方ありませんよ。 この子はカメラに映ったものを無差別に追尾するようプログラミングされているのですから。
There's nothing we can do about that. This guy's been programmed to indiscriminately attack whatever his camera detects.
そのように設定したのは僕たち人間です。 SPX を恨むのは筋違いですから、どうか恨まないであげてください。
It was humans who set it up that way, so please don't misdirect your anger toward the SPXs when they're not the ones to blame. Don't get mad at the
そんなこ
robots.
と言われたってよ。リーダーだってこいつらに殺されたんだぜ。恨み事の一つだって出ちまうだろうよ。
Sure, but these are the same metallic goons that offed our chief, yeah? Can't help but feel a little sour at him for it.
僕たちが探偵としての役割を全うしているように、 SPX のようなメカたちも自分に与えられた仕事をこなしているだけなんです。
They're only doing the jobs they were given, just the same as we detectives perform ours.
見てくださいよ、この手も足もないボディを。人々を見守り、脅威を排除するためだけに機能が洗練されています。
Look at
武
its
装さんのまとう鎧と同じです。
look at its body. No arms or legs. Its function has been refined solely to monitoring people and removing threats, not unlike armor suit.
なあ、わかるぞ科学殿。我の鎧もその電子からくりと同じく命を守るために研ぎ澄まされたものだ。そこに悪意など存在しない。
Ah, indeed, Sir Techie. Both mine armor and that contraption were forged to preserve life. Neither harbors any inherent malviolence.
悪意を込め争いに利用するのはいつだって人間なのである。
Ultimately, it is mankind who, in their malice, appropriate such things in order to sow strife.
ええ、その通りです。僕は SPX を悪用してリーダーを殺した犯人を絶対に許せません。
Yeah, you get it. Under no circumstances can we forgive whoever misused that SPX to kill the chief.
科学探偵の名にかけて探偵同盟に潜んだ犯人を必ず逮捕してみせます。
I, Techie Detective, swear upon my name to bring the criminal who infiltrated the DA to justice.
探偵同盟に潜んだっていうのは確定なのかな。
You say they infiltrated the DA, but how can we be sure of that?
犯人は研究棟の職員を全滅させただけでなく SPX の性能を知り尽くしています。
Not only did the culprit kill everyone at the research facility, they also possess full knowledge of the SPX's capabilities.
探偵同盟の内部に深く入り込んでいて、かつ相当な恨みを持つ人物に間違いありません。
They've
僕ら
done
の中に潜んでいる可能性だって十分に考えられます。
they've done irreparable damage to the DA and seek to harm us. That much is certain. Given this, infiltration seems entirely plausible. So we've got enemies aside from downtown. This tragedy hasn't come to a close yet. Part of me honestly wishes I could just ignore it. An hour ago, we all enjoyed a meal together, everyone chatting with smiles on their faces. I don't want to believe that was all a lie. It's awful having to suspect my companions like this.
何をくよくよしてんだよ、無能の兄さん。
The heck you chewing your cud about, bub? Threw me off. Rowdy gives me a light slap on the head. When my eyes meet hers, she grins broadly.
もし俺たちの中に敵がいるとしても別に気にする必要ねえだろ。あんたが信じたいなら信じていりゃいいじゃねえか。
Even if that crook's among us, there ain't no need to worry, see? If you want to believe, then you ought to keep on believing.
でも僕が渋谷さんの正体に気づいていれば赤井さんは
But if I'd realized the truth about downtown sooner, Mystic wouldn't be.
心の底から信じて裏切られたなら仕方ねえよ。それよりも半端な思いのまま行動する方が後悔が残ら。
You trusted her. She backstabbed you. No help in that. But going at everything all half-hearted and lukewarm-like, that you might regret.
男が
That
一度
you might
信じた
regret.
からビッと最後まで突き進もうぜ。
Once a man had his mind set on something, he's gotta stick to his guns, capiche?
山田さんは僕よりもずっと男らしいね。僕
は
も君くらい強くなれたらいいんだけど。
Ha ha. You're way more of a man than I'll ever be, Rowdy. I wish I could be as strong as you.
悩まねえコツがあるんだよ。
Well, I've got a trick to nip all those worries right in the bud, see?
悩まないコツ？
You do?
ああ、こいつさ。
Sure, take a look. Rowdy produces a small deck of cards from her pocket and begins shuffling them. They look like traditional Hanafuda cards, each emblazoned with plants, animals, and so forth. How are they supposed to help?
俺は迷った時こいつを引くようにしてるんだ。1枚引いて桜の札が出たら5。
Whenever
そ
I'm
れ以外なら諦めるって寸法よ。
Whenever I'm stuck, I pull a card. Drawing one with a cherry blossom means go, but anything else means I should cool it.
カード任せってそれはいいのかな。
So, you let the cards decide your actions. Is that really okay?
考えてもみろよ。悩むってことは自分を信じられねえってことだろ。
Just think about it a tick, bub. Second guessing means you don't trust your gut. You follow me?
だったらよ、いざって時には自分より信じられるやつに頼りゃいい話じゃねえか。
When it's down to the nitty
こ
gritty,
いつは自分よりよっぽど信じられる相棒なんだよ。
when it's down to the nitty gritty, you gotta have something to rely on. And these cards always got my back. I trust them more than I do myself.
兄さんも試しにやってみな。決意が固まるぜ。
You ought to try it too, bub. You'll get your mind made right quick. Rowdy extends the deck of cards toward me. I freeze up on reflex. Should I continue believing in my friends as I have been? Or should I be more suspicious? Is this really something a deck should decide?
無能の兄さん、もっと気楽に考えな。
Don't worry your little head so much, bub. As if guessing my thoughts, Rowdy comforts me with her hearty, energetic voice.
自分が本気で選ぼうとする決断なら、こんな札一枚に左右なんかされねえ。されるはずがねえ。
If it's a choice,
自分
I'm
が本当に選びたい選択を後押ししてくれるはずだ。
if it's a choice I'm serious about making, a card ain't gonna sway me. No way, no how. This is more like a push to pick the answer I'm really after.
だから引くんだよ。自分の決断を信じてな。
So take a card and trust in your decision.
桜の札が出たらこうだね。やってみるよ。
Okay, so cherry blossom means to go with my gut, right? Let's give it a shot. I draw a card from Rowdy's hand.
どうだい？あんたの決意は固まったか？
Well, figure out your answer?
固まったよ。
Yeah, I did. I hand the card I drew to Rowdy, cherry blossom on it, setting my resolve in stone. Huh?
もう迷ったりしない。僕は仲間を信じるよ。
No more hesitation. I choose to believe in my friends. Good on you, deck of
も
cards.
う消灯時間か。そろそろ自分の部屋に戻ろう。
Alright, a little scene transition. I'm gonna go get some water really quick. Give me just a couple minutes, and we'll keep going. I'll throw the BRB up. Be back shortly. All right, we're back. It's nearly lights out. We should head to our cell soon. Moments later, lights dim and plunge us into darkness. I start heading back toward the chair where we had left the toolbox Techie was using to analyze the SPX. Suddenly, I run directly into Doleful as he comes bounding out from the warden's room.
無能くんたちか。びっくりした。
Oh, it's just you, incompetent. You startled me there. Doleful jumps back a bit. Judging by the steam and soapy aroma, it seems he's been using the warden room shower. You frighten quite easily, Sir Doleful.
いや、この暗がりだと仕方ないよ。すぐ前方のものだって見えないしね。
Hey, it's not like he can help it. It's so dark I can't even see what's in front of me.
まあ俺みたいに視力や聴力が優れてなきゃ恐ろしいだろうな。
Man, must be scary for folks who don't got top-notch senses like I do.
武装さんは特にそのお化けみたいだから。
Right, especially with armor around. He already looks like a ghost. Tilly Valley, me, a ghost?
確かに動く甲冑ってオカルトみたいだよね。日本の有名なお城でもそんな話があったような。
I mean, a walking suit of armor is pretty spooky. I think a famous castle in Japan also had a legend like that.
非科学的な話はやめてください。早く帰りましょう。
Well, it's impossible, scientifically speaking. Come on, let's head back already.
おやおや、科学の坊ちゃんはもしやお化けが苦手なのか？
Whoa, what's this? Techie, don't tell me you're scared of ghoulies or something.
違います。科学に携わる者として、そのような子供騙しの話は虫唾が走るだけです。
Not at all. As a proponent of science, entertaining children's make-believe simply makes my skin crawl.
じゃあ虫唾を走らせまくってやるよ。山の中で暮らしてると例の一人や二人アホほど見ちまうからな。
Oh, I'll make your skin crawl real good then. See, the mountains where I'm from, there's spirits everywhere you look.
やめてください。やはりあなたは野蛮です。もっと探偵らしい理知的な発言を心がけてください。
Leave Techie alone. No, please stop. You may be a savage brute, but you can at least try to keep your remarks logical like a proper detective. As the lively exchange continues, we make our way over to the cells, only to run into a wholly unexpected encounter.
奇遇だね。みんな仲良く揃ってどうしたんだい？
Here's a surprise. You're all looking awfully chummy there. Just what could you be up to? Renegade sits before the dismantled SPX. He cheerfully runs his fingers over its exterior and smirks.
それはこっちのセリフだよ。君の方こそ何をしてるんだ？
That should be our line. What are you doing here?
そんなに敵意を向けないでくれよ。せっかくいいことを教えてあげようと思ったのにさ。
Don't get all huffy, kid. I was about to tell you something nice. Renegade motions to the SPX as he speaks. I glance over the machine again, but as far as I can tell, it's still in pieces, just the way it was while we were inspecting it earlier. I don't notice anything particularly odd.
長い針が消えてる。
Wait, there's a spike missing. Oh, what? Now that he mentions it, I notice that one of the long metal spikes Techie had detached has disappeared. There would have been ample time to take it while we were returning items to the warden's room and chatting with Doleful, but who did it? And why?
ついに始まるみたいだね。
Looks like it's about time for the kickoff.
始まるって何が？
The kickoff for what exactly?
そんなの決まっているじゃないか。
Isn't it obvious? The corners of Renegade's mouth curl upward in the shape of a crescent.
俺たちの中に混じった殺人鬼と俺たち探偵との殺し合いが始まるんだよ。
I'm talking about the death match between us detectives and the killer in our midst.
ああ、感じるよ。この暗闇の中に潜む殺意は愛おしいほどに感じる。
Ah. I feel it, the bloodthirst lurking in the shadows, so dear and sweet.
また意味わかんねえこと言いやがって。そろそろ黙らねえとマジで口を聞けなくすんぞ、このイカレ野郎。
Spouting your usual bullshit again, eh? Listen up, nutjob. Quit running your trap, or I'll make sure it never runs again, capiche? Rowdy approaches Renegade and seizes him by the collar, but he doesn't flinch, carrying on with great cheer, completely unfazed.
わざとらしく怒ってみせるなよ。本当はみんなわかっているんじゃないか？
Don't try to act all bent out of shape. Deep down, you've all realized it, haven't you?
探偵なんて全員何も起きない退屈な日常に我慢できず、殺人鬼と関わり合う探偵という名の非日常を望んだ命知らずたちだ。
Our daily lives becomes dull during times of peace. We detectives are reckless, thrill-seeking fools who dream of confronting our murderous nemesises.
俺も君も他のみんなも狂気と嘘と殺意が渦巻く非日常にそそられている。全員イかれているのさ。
You, me, all of us tingling with excitement as we face the insanity, lies, and barbarity touted as extraordinary. Every one of us is mad.
てめえと一緒にすんじゃねえ。俺はあの人の役に立つために来たんだ。惹かれた考えなんざ一切ねえんだよ。
Don't go lumping us together. I'm just here to lend a helping hand. There ain't a single bit of crazy in this noggin.
かっこいいね。でも俺は知っているよ。
How noble, but I know the truth.
君のお母さんは明けぬ夜事件の被害者だろう。だからこそ君は強く育てられたんだ。どんな犯罪者にも遅れを取らない探偵を生み出すためにね。
The Dayless Night incident claimed your mother, no? That's why you were raised so strong, to create a detective who could keep up with any criminal.
もうてめえは死んどけ。ド変態野郎。
Ah, just drop dead already, will ya? Goddamn nasty creep.
ヤマトさん、ダメだ。
Rowdy, stop it. Oh. As I move to get between Renegade and Rowdy, her fist lands squarely on my cheek, sending me flying. My back slams hard against the ground, and my chest grows tight. I can't breathe. Soon after, the metallic taste of blood fills my mouth. My mouth. My vision is hazy, but I can make out the sound of numerous footsteps approaching.
無能の兄さん大丈夫か。本当にすまねえ。
You okay, bub? I'm really sorry. It was an accident, honest.
意識が混濁しています。監視室から氷を持ってきますね。
He's losing consciousness. I'll go get ice cream. Ice cream? I'll go get ice from the warden's room. And ice cream.
おや
So ice cream stat.
大事な仲間を殴るなんてひどいね。
Tisk, tisk. You'd still like your own dear friend. What a monster.
てめえ。もう一発ぶん殴ってやるから。面を貸しやがれ。
Why, I oughta. Another fist right here with your name written all over it.
ヤマトさん落ち着いて。彼の言葉を真に受けちゃダメだよ。
Rowdy, please calm down. Don't let him rile you up.
我は無能殿を牢屋のベッドへ運ぶのである。これ以上喧嘩を続けるというのなら、無能殿を運び終えた後に我がまとめて引き受けよう。
Allow me to ferry Sir Incompetent to his cell. If this battle must continue, so be it. I shall take on all comers once he's safely tucked in.
仲間同士でいがみ合うなど
Armor's
間違っ
pissed.
ているのである。
Such quarrels amongst comrades. Do not find it just.
嘘さ。
Armor. I hear them talking, but can't muster sound. I feel Armor cradle me and lift my body as I slip in and out of the waking world.
僕を呼び止めて何の用。
Why did you call me? What did you want?
大した意味はないよ。
Oh, it's nothing major.
ただ一晩だけ俺と君の部屋を交換してほしいのさ。
You see, I like to swap rooms with you, just for tonight. Upon coming to, I find myself in a bizarre labyrinth. I walk alone along the desolate concrete walls. A familiar mechanical beeping whirs. Can't you also use the word whirls? Whirls? I don't know. A familiar mechanical beeping whirs from further down the corridor. I get a bad feeling and rush ahead. Soon after, I run into it. The white machine we encountered this afternoon. Next to it, a girl sprawled out, drenched in blood. Spear juts out from her chest, and sanguine fluid gushes from the wound. The thick set of blood hangs in the air. One whiff of the metallic stench is enough to make my head spin, robbing me of all rational thought. I have to escape. I have to escape. As I try to voice the words, I feel something touching my back. Touching. I turn to find another SPX at my heels. Not only that, but I can make out the sound of treads nearby. More and more SPXs gather at my heels, but the situation is so absurd that I actually find some comfort in it. Could this be a vision from the denouement? Is this the fate I'm bound for? What in the world is supposed to happen to me? You think I'm just gonna sit here and take it? I dash forward with all my strength, weaving my way through the SPXs before they can react. It's not over till it's over. Even if what I'm seeing really is the future, I refuse to give up. I'll find a sliver of hope, I swear. Sparks fly across my field of vision, flooding my surroundings with light. I find myself in a familiar cell. There's a figure lying on the bed near the back. But oddly enough, a long object protrudes from their chest. Oh, no. I recognize the object at once. It's the stolen SPX spike. Even from this distance, it's crushingly obvious what happened. The spike has been speared straight through what is now a corpse. I spring from the bed and survey the darkness around me. There aren't any bodies. I don't see the spike or SPXs either. Scent of blood is gone too. I heave a deep sigh of relief. All that just now was only a dream. It would seem you've had a vision of another tragedy to come. Holmes appears, her words shattering my brief moment of peace. You saw it, yes? Premonition of death? Yeah, I saw a corpse in a cell, but I'm not sure who it was. The dream was way more fragmented than usual. Ah, so you lack sufficient details. Best to remain calm and investigate further come morning then. How can you be so blasé about this? Somebody might die again. Shouldn't I start searching for clues right away? I'll admit your impulsive nature is quite charming, but I'm going to have to insist you stay put this time around. Remember what was stated yesterday? Now isn't the time to act on your own. Were anything to happen while you were alone, it could prove hazardous. But I... I can't stand by and watch someone die in front of me again. If there's anything I can do right now, I want to do it.
白い SPX の針が凶器に使われるなら犯行を止める手がかりが SPX の残骸に残ってるかもしれない。
If that spike,
調べに行ってきます。
if that spike's going to be used as a murder weapon, there could be a clue near the white SPX. I'm gonna go check.
本当に一度決めたら頑固だな。
You truly are a stubborn one, once you've made up your mind.
これ以上は止めないが、くれぐれも気をつけてくれ。下手に足音を立てて誰かを起こしてしまったら、後で疑われるだろうからな。
I won't try to stop you, but do take caution. Rouse anyone with your footsteps and you only make yourself a suspect later.
はい。細心の注意を払います。
Right, I'll be careful. I unlock the cell and take a step outside. The metal door creaks as it opens, causing my heart to nearly leap out of my chest. That got a little dicey. Even the tiny sound echoes here in the dungeon. Rowdy has ears like a hawk, but thankfully, her cell is on the far side of the hall, so I should be okay. Still, better safe than sorry. With Holmes at my side, I quietly sneak toward the dismantled SPX. I try my best to be silent, but can't seem to muffle my steps, much to my chagrin. Holmes chuckles as she observes.
君は探偵なのに足音を消すのが苦手なんだな。かわいいやつめ。
You're a detective, yet you can't even hide the sound of your footfalls. How adorable.
これでも十分消せているでしょ。これ以上消すなんて無茶ですよ。
I thought I was doing a pretty good job, though. There's no way I can be any quieter.
甘いぞ、ワト君。熟練の探偵なら気性の荒い猫にすら気取られることなく接近することが可能だ。
Sweet, innocent Watto, an experienced professional in our field, could sneak up on even the most ill-tempered tomcat.
ペット探しは軽んじられがちだが、わずかな情報から対象を見つけ出す情報収集能力と、気取られることなく接近する追跡能力が問われる難易度の高い仕事なんだよ。
Missing animal cases are often trivialized, but it's no simple task to locate a target based on minute details, then track them down unnoticed.
アルバイト先の先生は僕にペット探しばかりをさせてましたけど、修行の一環だったんでしょうか。
My boss back at my part-time job always had me looking for lost pets. Wonder if that was part of my training.
きっとそうさ。探偵の基礎を身につけるのには最適な仕事だからな。
I'm certain it was. It's the most efficient method for learning the fundamental skills every detective needs. We continue talking as we near the SPX's remains. While I can discern the vague shape in front of me, it's too dark to make out much else.
探偵デバイスのライト機能を使っても何も見えませんね。
I can't see a thing, even with my D-pad's flashlight.
当たり前だろ。ここは太陽の日差しの一筋すら入ってこない地下だ。手のひら台の光源では足りなくて当然だよ。
Is that really so surprising? We've gone where the sun doesn't shine. Of course a light source the size of your palm would be insufficient.
流行る気持ちはわかるが、やはり無理に調査などせず、このまま起きてこの地下室を監視していたらどうだ。
I understand you're eager, but perhaps staying up and keeping watch would be a better use of your energy than a fruitless investigation.
それが妥当なところかもしれませんね。僕以外に起きている人の気配もしませんし。
That's probably a good idea. I don't think anyone else is awake right now.
以前も言った通り、エンドシーイングは万能の力じゃない。見えない情報を追おうとするよりも、見えた情報の中で何とかした方がいいんだよ。
As I said previously, the denouement is not all powerful. Rather than chase after what eludes you, consider what you already know.
せめて懐中電灯があればな。
Man, I just wish I had a flashlight.
ライトを消せ、ワト君。
Cut the light, Watto.
どうしたんですか？
Huh? What's wrong? I speak aloud without thinking, and Holmes quickly zooms in front of me.
いいから消すんだ。それに声も発するな。
Uh-oh.
誰かが君を狙っている。
Do it. Keep quiet. Somebody has you in their sights. I nearly blurt out, "Don't be ridiculous," before managing to stop myself. I turn off my light and look around, but don't notice anything suspicious.
何もいませんよ。何か見えたんですか？
There's no one there. Did you spot something?
いや、ただ気配を感じただけだ。 姿が見えるどころか足音すら聞こえない。
No, I simply felt a presence. Couldn't even hear their footsteps, let alone see them.
勘違いなんじゃ。
Maybe it was just your Matt.
避けろ。
Run! Huh? As I quickly roll to the side, what appears to be a spike from the white SPX shoots out from behind me. The tip barely misses its mark, but slowly begins to encroach upon me, as if anticipating my attempt to dodge it. There's a cracking noise as it strikes me. My vision flickers several times. Suddenly, my body feels weightless, and my consciousness fades.
起きろ、ワト君。
Wake up. Wake up, Watto. What? Oh, I'm in the green dungeon. I open my eyes. I'm just gonna say, depending on, assuming this chapter follows like this last chapter, where someone's killed, one of us is killed, same, and then one of the detectives is the culprit. I have a feeling that the way it was set up, similar vibes to last episode, or, you know, last chapter. I feel as if older guy, whose name escapes me for some whatever reason, either old guy or Posh is gonna be either the victims or the culprit, because they have the same, they're carrying around the same energy that it felt like with the almost Downtown and Mystic kind of had last chapter. You know, like Bookworm was too much of a focus in the past chapter. It seems like it would be crazy to put her into a situation here. Renegade's too easy, obviously, of a choice. Things of that nature, you know? That's how I'm kind of feeling about this. So I have a feeling that this could be Posh and Workaholic is his name. Now I remember. It came to me. I open my eyes and see Holmes peering at me with a troubled expression. Looking around, I find myself in a strange concrete area. No decorations, just 4 passages leading in different directions. The cold, inhuman nature of the place sends a shiver down my spine.
ホームズさん、ここは一体。僕はまだ夢を見てるんですか？
Holmes, what is this place? Am I still dreaming?
すまない。私と君の意識はリンクしているから、君の意識が途絶えていた時に何が起こったかわからない。
Apologies, but as my consciousness is linked with yours, I'm afraid I don't know what happened while you were out.
だが、目の前の光景が夢じゃないことは確かだ。どうやら君は何者かに気絶させられ、この場所に運び込まれたようだな。
However, this is no dream. Of that much I'm certain. It would seem someone has knocked you out and brought you here.
どうして僕を何のために？
What? But why me? What for?
この機械を聞き覚えはないか？
Shh, listen. Don't you recognize that mechanical sound? A booming mechanical hum reverberates through the area, shaking the surrounding concrete. There's no question, it's an SPX, and it's getting closer. Must be coming from one of these passages.
どの通路だ？どこから来てる？
Which one? Where's it coming from? That's my impression of this. It took the might of the entire DA to defeat the last mech. If it discovers me alone, I'm toast. The overbearing whir draws closer, to the point where it feels as if the angel of death itself is about to descend upon me. My breathing goes ragged. My heart hammers in my ears.
落ち着け、ワト君。君にはエンドシーイングがあるだろう。
Calm yourself, Watto. You have the denouement, remember?
今の状態で SPX と遭遇すれば、悲劇の死は避けられない。ならばエンドシーイングを使えば、確実に未来を予知できるはずだ。
Encounter an SPX now and your life will be forfeit, but given the situation, you should be able to take a peek into your future. I'm finally reminded of my newfound ability. Using the denouement to foresee any oncoming tragedy is bound to be useful here. I focused my gaze on each of the 4 passageways, and then... Okay, let's not choose that way then. The instant I look at the passage in front of me, a bright red SPX cuts me down. Splattering blood dyes my vision scarlet. But then the scene disappears, and all is at peace, as if the blood was simply wiped clean. My head feels like it's burning up, but I was able to successfully use the denouement.
どうやら SPX は正面の通路から来るみたいです。
It seems the SPX is coming from the passage in front of me to the left.
よし。ならば向かって右手の通路へ逃げよう。このままここにいても見つかるだけだからな。
Very well. Then let's escape via the passage to the right. You're certain to be spotted if we stay here any longer. The second Holmes gives the command, I hurry into the right-hand passage. The sounds of the SPX grow distant. Seems I've shaken it off for now, but I still have no idea where I am.
エンドシーイングの反動は大丈夫か？
Are you feeling alright after using the denouement?
頭が焼けるみたいに痛いですけど、意識ははっきりしてます。少しは慣れてきたのかも。
Yeah, I'm fine. My head feels a bit fried, but I'm alert enough. I think I'm getting used to it.
そうか。それはよかった。ならこの先は何が起こるかわからない。いつでもエンドシーイングが発動できるようにしておこう。
I see. Glad to hear it. I can't predict what may happen next, so be prepared to use the denouement at a moment's notice. I walk and walk, but the concrete corridor never changes. The continuous repetitive sound of my footsteps makes me dizzy. As a sterile monotony? Right. Why was that confusing me? Continues in my ears, an odd feeling rises up inside me. It's like deja vu, as if I've gone down those exact same halls before. These exact same halls before. Man. I'm gonna get you.
10年前の夢で見た SPX は赤かった気がする。
Come to think of it, I think the SPX in my dreams about what happened a decade back was red too. The SPX that appeared in my vision just now was the exact same color. It could just be a coincidence. The denouement relies on my own inherent knowledge to create its visions. It's entirely possible that I was mirroring my past trauma, but maybe there's another explanation.
ホームズさん、もしかして昔一緒にこの迷宮を歩いたことがありませんか？
Holmes, have the two of us ever walked down these corridors before? In the past, I mean?
どうしてそう思うんだ？
What makes you say that?
今までに何度もこの迷宮を夢に見たことがある気がするんです。
It's just, I feel like I've seen this maze in my dreams countless times.
それに10年前に僕の囚われていた地下室と隣接していますし、何らかの目的で連れてこられたとしても不思議じゃないと思って。
Plus, it connects to the dungeon where I was held 10 years back. It could be that they brought me here for some reason or another.
なるほど。それなら私たちが誘拐されていた10年前に訪れたことがあると考えるのも当然だな。
Is that so? In that case, it is quite plausible that the two of us were here together after our being abducted 10 years back.
でも不思議なのは SPX の存在です。
But it's strange. What's an SPX doing here anyway?
SPX がいるということは、この通路も探偵同盟と関わりがあるんですよね。序列2位のあなたなら何か知っているんじゃないですか？
Its presence means that this passage is somehow related to the DA, right? You're ranked number 2. Do you know anything?
そろそろ知りたがる頃だと思っていたよ。何から話せばいいかな。
I had a feeling you'd ask sooner or later. Where to begin? Holmes closes her eyes solemnly, pauses, then finally begins speaking.
はじめに言っておくが、これまでにも伝えてある通り、私も全てを知っているわけじゃない。例えば、SPX についてはほとんど知識がないんだ。
First, a reminder. As previously stated, my information isn't comprehensive. For example, I know next to nothing regarding the SPXs.
どうして知らないんですか？ 探偵同盟で開発していたメカなんですよね。
Why is that? Weren't those mechs developed by the Alliance?
正確には違う。あの SPX シリーズやこの迷宮、そして例の地下室を作ったのは探偵同盟の元となった組織、秘密警察なんだよ。
Technically speaking, no. The SPX series, this maze, and the dungeon were all created by the DA's predecessor, the Secret Police.
秘密警察、警察内の組織なんですか？
The Secret Police? Was that a branch of law enforcement?
いや、警察の名を冠しただけの全く別の組織だ。探偵同盟のように表沙汰にできるような活動もしていないから、名前を知る者もまずいないだろう。
No, it's simply a name. It had no connection to the Force. Like the DA, it's operated out of the public eye. I'm sure no one's even heard of it.
変な組織ですね。何のために作られた組織なんです？
What a strange organization. Why was it established in the first place?
明美よ
Getting a
り
lore
事件
dump
を
here.
解決するためさ。当時からすでに著名な探偵であったローシ君や魔界君とも協力関係にあったと聞いている。
To investigate the Dayless Night incident, senior detective, who was already quite famous, and mystic detective assisted as well, I believe.
あの二人と協力関係に。目的だけ聞くと真っ当な組織に思えますね。
If those two were involved, and that was really their goal, it must have been a pretty respectable organization.
ああ、目的は真っ当だったよ。だが、手段が良くなかった。
Their goal was respectable, yes. Their methods, however, were anything but.
八つ崎校が明けぬ夜事件の影響を受けていることは知っているな。
You're aware that the Quartering Duke was influenced by the Dayless Night incident, yes?
下道探偵がそう語っていました。明けぬ夜事件で実現できなかったことを引き継ごうとしているみたいだって。
Yeah, that's what Renegade told us. He said that the Duke is trying to finish what the Dayless Night incident had started.
ああ、その通りだ。しかしそれは別に八つ崎校に限った話じゃない。明けぬ夜事件の以降、後継者を名乗る者の犯行が相次いだんだ。
Precisely, but the Quartering Duke wasn't the only one. Following the Dayless Night, a great many copycats claimed to be doing the same.
その対応に追われるうちに秘密警察は歪んでいく。後継者を生み出さぬよう非人道的な行為にも及び始めたそうだ。
As the secret police struggled to address this, their morals grew warped. They began conducting inhumane experiments to prevent further crimes.
君や私が監禁されていたのも彼らの犯した罪の一つなんだよ。
Our confinement was just one of the many grave sins they committed.
まさか10年前の誘拐事件を引き起こしたのはその秘密警察っていう組織だったんですか？
What? You're saying the secret police was behind the abductions 10 years ago? I'm shocked, but the facts do seem to add up. Despite the scale of the incident, coverage on it from the media was surprisingly scant. Ultimately, the perpetrators were written off as an organized crime syndicate, so there really was more to the story after all. Then there's the other thing Renegade mentioned. Every detective here is tied to the Dayless Night, not to mention the link between Holmes and myself.
秘密警察は明けぬ夜事件の再来を未然に防げるよう超人的な能力を有する探偵を作り出そうとしていた。
Seeking to
私たちはその実験のために誘拐されていたんだよ。
Seeking to forestall another Dayless Night incident, the SP aimed to create detectives with supernatural abilities. We were abducted for this experiment.
事件を未然に防ぐってどうやって？そんなの非現実的すぎますよ。
How would they be able to stop something like that in advance? It's practically impossible.
君はすでに手に入れているじゃないか。未来の悲劇を見てそれを防ぐことのできる非現実的な力を。
But you already possess such an ability, do you not? That impossible power which allows you to see future tragedies and prevent them? Oh! Oh! The kidnapping 10 years ago, Xenomorph's visions of the future, and the secret police that sought to create supernatural detectives. Finally, each piece falls into place.
気づいたようだね。君に宿ったその異能、エンドシーイングはまさしく秘密警察の非道な実験によって生み出された力なんだよ。
So you've realized, indeed, your special power granted by the denouement is the result of the secret police's inhumane experiments.
君に私の力が引き継がれた理由は他でもない。君が私と共に10年前に同じ実験を受けた同志だからなんだ。
There's no other reason for why my power was transferred to you. It's because we were both subjected to those experiments 10 years ago.
この感覚は。
What was that?
そこの柱の陰に隠れろ。何かが近づいてきている。
Hide in the shadow of that pillar. Something's coming. I hide, as Holmes instructs, after which something smaller than the other mechs passes by. I can hear it, but can't see a thing. Thanks to its noisy treads, though, I can tell it's right next to me.
あれは一体。
What is that?
そのまま言葉は発さずに会話を続けよう。今の期待なら私も見知っている。あれは周囲の光景を自らに映し出すことで風景に同化する SPX だ。
Let's continue talking like this. No speaking aloud. I recognize this SPX. It can conceal itself using a projection of its surroundings.
どうやら視覚情報を察知するのは苦手なようだな。エンドシーイングで何かが見えたら今のように隠れるようにしていこう。
It seems to have poor optical sensors, however. If something triggers your denouement, simply hide, the way you're doing now.
あんな透明なものまで。SPX って何なんですか？
It can turn invisible? Just what are these things?
残念だが探偵同盟にも当時の機密警察のデータはほとんど残されていないんだ。
Sadly, the Detective Alliance has almost no data on record regarding the secret police.
探偵同盟の創始者ミドックは機密警察の悪行に気づき、組織を乗っ取る形で悪行を止め、同時に彼らの技術も手に入れた。
Vidyok, our founder, noticed that the SP had gone astray. To quash it, he usurped the organization, acquiring its technology in the process.
だが、組織の要であった技術者はすでに失踪していたんだよ。よって多くの技術はブラックボックス化してしまったと聞いている。
The SP's head researchers had already fled, however, so the inner workings of many of their projects remain yet unknown.
この迷宮もそんなブラックボックスの一つだ。監視用の SPX シリーズと奇妙な罠で満ちていて危険なために調査を進められなかったんだ。
This labyrinth is one such example. The SPX sentries and various perils found here have made investigation quite troublesome.
そんな場所に僕を連れ込むなんて誰の仕業なんでしょう。
So then, who is responsible for bringing me here?
わからない。だが間違いなくこの迷宮の存在を知る何者かの仕業だろう。さらにその何者かは自分の手で殺すことは避けたいらしい。
I cannot say, but they're undoubtedly aware of the labyrinth's existence. This individual seeks to avoid killing with their own hands.
なんて卑劣なんだ。早くみんなの元に戻ってこのことを伝えないと。
What a coward. Either way, we need to get out of here and inform the others ASAP.
落ち着け。まだクローラーの音がかすかに聞こえるだろう。
Calm yourself. You're still able to hear the faint crawling of that SPX, right?
探偵には情熱も大切だが、冷静な思考も寛容だ。
Passion is a virtue in this line of work, but remaining centered is paramount.
すみません。僕はいつも感情に身を任せてばかりで。
Sorry, my emotions tend to get the better of me.
君はそれでいいんだよ、ワト君。だからこそ、私はかつて君にときめいた。
You're fine just the way you are, Watto. That's why I was first drawn to you, after all.
私が君のストッパーになる。君はいつでもその強い意志を決して折らないでくれ。
You can count on me to keep you in line. Just don't lose that determination of yours.
君と私、二人で一人の探偵というのも悪くはないだろう。
Together, the two of us make one fairly competent detective, wouldn't you say? Cute. Incompetent, two of us together are competent.
頑張ります。
I'll do my best to keep up with you. I listen closely to make sure the SPX is gone before heading deeper into the passage. Things don't seem as scary to me as they did before. I'm sure it's all thanks to Holmes and her words of encouragement.
二人で一人の探偵か。
The two of us make one detective, huh? Until now, I'd simply been following her orders. I've been feeling like some kind of fraud for deceiving the others. But what Holmes said, that the both of us make one competent detective together, reassures me. I really am just a rookie, but as long as Holmes is by my side, I feel like we can solve any case that comes our way. Oh, it'd be really unfortunate if somehow Holmes leaves his side. The way that's set up, it seems like, oh shit, at some point, she's not going to be by his side. I have the best friend I could ask for watching my back, after all. Eventually, we reach an open room with the exact same layout as the last. Convenient for background making sake.
またこの部屋か。
Another one of these.
いずれかの通路には危険な罠が待ち受けているかもしれないな。さて、こんな状況の時はどうすればいいかな？
A fatal trap could await us beyond any one of these corridors. Tell me, what shall we do in such a predicament?
エンドシーイングですね。
Use the denouement?
グッドだ、ワト君。分かってきたじゃないか。
Very good, Watto. You're becoming quite adept. The most obvious answer, though. I steel myself and concentrate. Slowly but surely, I'm getting a feel for this ability. I think I understand how to use it now. I clear my mind and focus on my sight, taking in every little detail. Glimpses of the future begin to form in my empty head, like images loading in one after another. A horrific sight emerges, immediately snapping me back to reality. I couldn't see everything clearly, but I could make out a long, thin spike, which means...
ワト君、私にも見えたぞ。中央の道、あの針の影は。
I saw it as well, Watto. A silhouette of that spike through the central corridor.
はい。この先で殺人事件が起こる未来が見えました。
Yeah, my vision showed another murder occurring further along that way. I may still be able to stop it. I'm going down the central passage right now. I have to. When I rush over, I'm met with an endless concrete passage exactly like the rest. Shrouded by the darkness, however, is a small gap in the wall. That must be the exit to this maze. If I head through here, I may be able to get back to the dungeon where everyone's waiting.
わざわざワト君を迷宮まで運んでおきながら、ここまで罠一つないとは妙だな。
They went to all that trouble bringing you here, yet there hasn't been a single trap. How curious.
気をつけろ、ワト君。もしかしたらこの先にこそ罠が用意されているのかもしれない。
Stay alert, Watto. There may well be danger up ahead.
はい。
Right. I move cautiously into the gloom, keeping an eye out for whatever may be lurking within. I press on one careful step at a time, unable to see a thing in the dark. I'm sick of being in these awful tunnels, but this passage almost certainly must connect to where I was before. I need to hurry and meet up with the others so I can let them know about my vision. It's all I can think about as I continue walking.
一向に通路の出口が見えてきませんね。
No sign of any way out of this corridor.
もしかしたらこの通路こそ例の地下牢の隠し通路なんじゃないか。だとしたらまだ出入り口が開いていない可能性もあるな。
Perhaps this is the hidden passage we were looking for in the dungeon, in which case its entrance wouldn't be open yet.
じゃあ何か仕掛けを見つけないと出られない可能性も。
So, there's a possibility we can't escape unless we find the mechanism?
ああ、注意深く探索してみよう。
Precisely. Let us make a thorough search. Right at that moment, I see a shaft of light dead ahead.
ホームズさん、あれ
Holmes, look!
もしかして隠し扉の隙間なんじゃないですか？ちょっと調べてみますね。
Could that be our way out over there? I'll go check it out. When I reach the light, I notice that the ceiling is much lower than I realized, allowing me to touch it easily. It feels like there's something I can push here.
ホームズさん、どうやらここが隠し扉になっているみたいです。
Holmes, I think this is the entrance to the hidden passage.
待ってくれ。なんだか妙な予感がする。
Wait, I have an odd feeling about this.
私が犯人ならこんなわかりやすいヒントは残さない。
Were I...
そしたら それは誘導だ。
Were I the culprit, I wouldn't have left such an obvious giveaway. That is, unless I were seeking to lure out my prey.
罠の可能性がある。ここから出ない方がいい。
This could be a trap. You mustn't go up.
でも
Uh-oh.
これ以上時間をかけたら殺人事件が起きてしまうかもしれませんよ。
But if we take any longer, that murder I saw might actually happen.
もし罠で命に危険が迫ったとしても今は先へ進むしかないと思うんです。
Even if it puts my life at risk, I've got no choice but to keep going.
そうだな。すまない。私としたことが弱気になっていたよ。
You're right. I apologize for being so yellow-bellied.
行こう、ワト君。たとえどんな悲劇が待ち受けていようとも、二人で覆してやろうじゃないか。
Let us press on, Watto. Whatever tragedy may await, we shall reverse it together. I touch where the light is filtering in, brace my legs, and push with all my might. Once I do, the light grows larger as the cover slides upward with a grating sound. Just as I thought, this really is where you get into the hidden passage. But more importantly, it's my way out of the dark. I throw open the door, encouraged by my growing sense of liberation. I reach my hands above me, grab the sides of the now open hole, and haul myself up. Upon climbing out, I find myself in a familiar cell. Uh-oh, wait, who's that there? I see a body! Ah! Ah! Seeing the image before the game recognizes and lets you know that you're seeing a thing. Ah! I'm finally back. Ah! I take a deep breath, grateful to be free from that suffocating maze. Now comes the hard part. Sure, I had a vision of a future homicide, but that isn't something I can just tell people directly. Game, recognize what I'm looking at! I see it with my own eyes! How can I alert the others so that they'll be on their guards? Oh no, come on. Huh? Damn it. Something suddenly enters my line of sight. It can't be. I mean, I managed to get back safely. I was about to warn everyone and prevent the vision I saw. That had been my plan. So why is there a spike thrust through her chest? Why? I worked so hard to make it back. Why did this happen? Rowdy! Rowdy, open your eyes! Rowdy's wound seems so minimal I half expect her to leap up at a moment. But her body is still, and her once lively face has gone pale. Another cool character, I gotta say, dead. We're keeping around all the lamos. With a trembling hand, I check her pulse, but there's not a trace of warmth from her, let alone a heartbeat. She was so strong, so manly and boisterous. No one in our group had more humanity, but that's all been stolen from her now. I couldn't save her either. Even after the denouement showed me the future, even though I knew the spike was missing, when it came down to it, I couldn't prevent tragedy. But I don't have time to dwell on my misery. Watto? No, Doleful, no, don't put this on me. I just came from fucking a concrete maze. Watto, why? How could you do this to Rowdy? Oh god. No, wait, it wasn't me. Finally sinks in. I've been framed. The cell is an enclosed space. If the door's locked, then the only way would be the hidden passage I crawled out of. In this compromising position, it's only natural for someone to assume that I'm guilty. We've been had, Watto. I suspected a trap, but one that would kill you, not frame you as a culprit. The culprit must have planned that from this from the start, which is why they went to the trouble of bringing you to the underground maze. As this isn't truly an enclosed space, they had a prime opportunity to shift the suspicion. This is no ordinary case, Watto. Holmes' words don't register at all. In my adult state, I'm too preoccupied with how I'm going to prove my innocence. Damn. Chapter 3, The Case of the Semi-Sealed Cell. Ba-da-da-da.
いい加減白状なさったらいかがですの？
Why not own up and confess?
僕はやってません。真犯人は別にいます。
Because I didn't do it. I'm telling you, someone else is a culprit. I've been bound with rope and made to sit on the ground, as per Pasha's orders. The rest of the detectives crowd around and begin hounding me with questions.
飛脚さんから話は聞きましたよ。ヤマトさんの遺体が発見された時、あなたは遺体のすぐそばにいらしたのでしょ？
Dolfo informed me, when Rowdy's corpse was discovered, you were at the scene of the crime, correct?
それに何より、あの牢屋の鍵はヤマトさんの衣服の中にありましたの。
Not only that,
通路を使ったあなた以外に侵入する方法などないのですわ。
not only that, but the key to the cell was on her person. There was no other means of entry aside from that passage.
君が通ってきた地下の通路を調べさせてもらったよ。あの地下通路は
I'm feeling Pasha workaholic. That's my prediction. If Rowdy's dead, obviously Rowdy is dead, then I'm thinking workaholic or Posh. The vibes are there. I investigated the underground labyrinth you emerged out of. Appears to connect to each cell like something of a mole tunnel.
例の SPX が出てきた通路とつながっていることも確認できた。まさかこんな恐ろしい通路が地下に伸びているなんてね。
I also confirmed that it's linked to the same passage the SPX had come from. Who would have thought that all this was under our feet?
そうだったんですか。
Huh? I never realized. There weren't any other entrances or exits down there as far as I'd seen. Well, that hardly matters anymore. Turns out Holmes had the right idea when she suggested we investigate the passageway more thoroughly. Especially seeing as no amount of hurrying would have been enough to save Rowdy anyway.
とぼけるのはおよしなさい。私が夜中に起きた際には、あなたの牢屋が開いているのを確認いたしましたわ。
Quit playing coy. When I awoke in the middle of the night, I saw that your bed was empty.
あなたは夜中に牢屋を抜け出して、隠し通路に忍び込んだのでしょ？
By then, you had left your cell and slipped into the hidden passage, had you not?
昨日私に調査をやめるよう言ったのも、隠し通路を発見されるのを避けるためでしたのね。私の高貴な頭脳にはお見通しなのですわ。
And asking me to halt my investigation was a ploy to prevent its discovery, I presume. My genteel gray matter has hit upon the truth.
待ってよ。ヤマトさんが亡くなってから数時間は経過しているんだよね。
Wait, it's been a few hours since Ryder was killed, right?
僕も最初は動揺しちゃったけど、無能君が犯人ならどうして何時間も経った後に犯行現場に戻ってきた
Yeah,
の？
Dolfo. Yeah,
そん
Dolfo.
なのおかしいよ。
Yeah, what Dolfo says. I was shaken at first too, but if Incompton is really the culprit, why did he return to the scene of the crime? Doesn't make any sense.
大方、ライトのバッテリーを切らして隠し通路から出られなくなったのでしょう。例の隠し通路は照明がなければ発見が難しかったようですしね。
Doubtless his light ran out of battery, preventing him from escaping out the passage. It'd be impossible to see without it.
苦肉の策として犯人ならば決して取らない行動を取ることで疑いの目を避けようとしたのではございませんこと？
With no other options, perhaps he attempted to redirect suspicion with this abnormal behavior.
庶民らしい浅くて卑しい発想ですわ。
A base and shallow notion, yes, but one typical of his third estate kind. Oh!
僕は犯人じゃありません。ヤマトさんを殺した真犯人は必ずこの中にいるはずなんです。
I'm not the culprit. Whoever actually killed Rowdy has to be among us.
僕が必ず見つけ出しますから、この拘束を解いてください。ここでじっとしているわけにはいきません。
Untie me and I promise I'll find them. We can't afford to stand around wasting time.
検視が終わったよ。死因は心臓を人差しにされたことによる心停止。凶器は見ての通り SPX に内蔵されていた針さ。
All done with the autopsy. Cause of death, trauma-induced cardiac arrest, murder weapon, and SPX spike. Right in the heart, as you can see.
見事なまでの即死だね。今から4時間前といえば照明一つない暗闇の中だ。 そんな中で胸を正確に貫くなんて犯人の腕前は大したものだよ。
Her death was instant, impressively so. It was pitch black 4 hours ago, so to get such an accurate shot, this culprit's a skilled one.
つまり犯行時刻は午前3時。私たちの中にアリバイがある人はいませんと少女は無能探偵以外の犯人の可能性を提示した。
So the crime took place at 3 a.m. That means no one here has an alibi, said the girl, pointing out that incompetent may not be the culprit.
文学さんに同意します。そもそも凶器の針が持ち去られた際に無能さんは僕らと一緒に行動していました。
I'm with Bookworm. It's also worth mentioning that Incompetent was with us when the spike was originally stolen.
無能殿を陥れるための罠に違いないのである。我々が必ず無能殿の身の潔白を証明してみせるのである。
Surely such trickery was intended to ensnare Sir Incompetent. By my troth, I shall prove his innocence.
ねえ、下道ちゃん。一ついいかしら。
Hey, Renegade, can I ask you something?
なんだい？検視のデータなら後で詳細をデバイスに転送しておくよ。
What? If you want the post-mortem report, I can send the details to your D-pad later.
どうしてあなたとヤマトちゃんは寝床を交代していたの？
Why did you and Rowdy switch rooms?
確かにこの部屋は本来なら下道探偵の部屋だったはずだ。
Oh, right. This one was originally supposed to be Renegade's. Gourmet shoots Renegade a remarkably piercing glare. There's something terrifying beneath her expression.
僕から説明します。実は昨夜下道探偵が寝つけないからと言って僕に部屋を交換するようにお願いしてきたんです。
I can explain. Last night, Renegade told me he couldn't sleep and asked to trade cells.
そうしたら断りきれない僕を見かねてヤマトさんが代わりにその相談に乗ってくれて
Rowdy saw
僕のせいでヤマトさんは
Rowdy saw how I was struggling to say no, so she stepped in to offer hers. It's my fault she...
事情は理解したわ。勇気を出して告白してくれてありがとう、飛脚ちゃん。
I understand. Thanks for coming clean, Doleful. That was very brave of you.
さあ、事情を聞かせてもらおうかしら。
So, can we hear your side of the story now?
今ヒー君が語ってくれた通りだよ。
Professional shit stirrer.
ベッドが
Renegade.
試しに部屋を変えてみただけさ。
It's just like Dolly says, alright? My bed was giving me trouble, so I asked to switch rooms.
俺はベッドが変わると寝つけない性格でね。まあ他の部屋のベッドも全く同じ仕様だから結局は全然寝つけなかったけど。
I'm the type who has trouble sleeping in new digs, but it turns out the beds in all the other rooms are just as bad, so I didn't sleep a wink anyway.
嘘の香りがするわね。
I smell a lie.
嘘の香りがし
Yeah,
ない人
suspect
間なん
him.
ていないさ。君は少々鈍感力を磨いた方がいい。
There's not a single human who doesn't reek of lies. Maybe do you some good to dull those senses a bit.
嘘の香りも私は好きよ。人間も食べ物も腐りかけくらいが一番美味しいの。適量の嘘や腐敗は人間関係をより美味しく彩ってくれる。
No, I like the scent. Both people and food taste best just before they spoil. The right amount of deceit can make relationships even more delicious.
でもね、あなたみたいに腐りきってしまえばカラスも食べてくれないのよ。
But not even crows would be interested in eating something as thoroughly rotten as you.
こいつは手厳しい。こんな俺でも美味しく食べてくれる人を探すしかない。
You're pretty harsh. Guess my only hope is to find someone who will enjoy eating me just as I am.
まあいいわ。
Ayo.
寝床を交換したことも含めてあなたの腹の内は全部探ってあげる。
Enough.
ヤマトちゃんの無念を晴らすためにもね。
Enough. Enough. Until you spill the beans on everything, including why you switched rooms, I'm going to grill you all the way through, for Rowdy's sake. Gourmet faces me and softens her expression.
無能ちゃんの気持ちはとってもわかるけど、今はじっとしておいてちょうだい。
I completely understand how you feel, incompetent, but sit tight for now.
犯人を突き止めたいのはみんな同じよ。私たちが必ずあなたの無実を証明してあげるから。信じて待っていてね。
Everyone is determined to catch the culprit. I promise we'll prove your innocence. Just trust me and wait here.
はい。
Alright. Some of the others are coming to my defense, but without any evidence in my favor, there isn't much I can do right now. Ultimately, my hands are tied. I have no choice but to wait here at the scene of Rowdy's murder with armor on watch duty.
元気を出してほしいのである。我はお主の無実を信じているぞ。
Sir Incompetent, pray, be at ease. We have faith in your innocency. With only the two of us remaining in the cell, Armor speaks to me with candid concern. Even now, he's willing to trust and look out for me. He truly is an honest, kind-hearted soul. Suddenly, Holmes materializes beside Armor to chide me.
こんなところでじっとしているのか。君は悲劇を覆すためにあの迷宮を脱出してきたのだろ。
What? Are you just going to sit around? Did you or did you not escape that maze to reverse this tragedy?
悲劇を防げなかったじゃないですか。疑惑だらけの今の僕に何ができるんですか。
But I failed to prevent it, didn't I? I'm a prime suspect now. What can I do?
仲間を信じて待つ。それ以外に選択肢はありませんよ。
The only real option I have is to believe in my friends and wait.
いや、まだある。君がみんなに指示を出してこの事件を解決に導くんだ。
No, there's still another. Instruct everyone yourself and guide them to solving this case.
犯人が君を狙ったのはなぜかよく考えてみるといい。本当に犯人は君を犯人に仕立て上げることだけが目的だったのか。
Think logically. Why would the culprit target you in particular? Was framing you truly their only goal?
犯人の目的？
The culprit's goal?
ああ、この牢屋の隠し通路が見つかれば犯人はすでに逃げ去った誰かということもできたはずだ。わざわざ君を犯人に仕立て上げるのもリスクが大きい。
Yes. The passage was found after the fact. They'd have assumed the culprit already fled. Attempting to frame you was quite the risk.
つまり君に疑念を向ける以外の目的が犯人にはあったんだよ。
This indicates that the culprit had another motive in making you the target of suspicion.
君の力がなければこの事件の謎を紐解くことはできないんだ。
Without your abilities, the mystery behind this case cannot be unraveled.
僕しか解けない。
Only I can solve it. A small flame of courage is stoked within me, but nothing more. I'm still the suspect here, so my actions may only cause more needless confusion. I tried getting a leg up earlier, only to wind up ensnaring myself in the killer's trap. Is it better to join the investigation or sit this one out? I can't trust myself to make the right call. Well, I'm going to assume that because of the conceit of the game, that I'm going to help join the investigation and not just sit back and let them solve this. And probably get everything wrong.
無能殿、見てほしいのである。こんなところに札がたくさん落ちているぞ。証拠品ではないか?
This Sir Incompetent, pray, come hither. A number of cards have been strewn about the crime scene. Might this be evidence, perchance? Armor begins to pick up the cards scattered across the ground. When I see them in his hands, I recognize them at once. They came from Rowdy's Hanafuda deck.
あ、それはヤマトさんが持ち歩いていた花札だね。よく運試しに使ってるって言ってたよ。
Oh, yeah, Rowdy carried these cards with her. She told me she'd often use them to try her luck.
それは知らなかったのである。運試しとはどのように使っていたのだ?
I was not aware of this. Beg pardon, but what do you mean by trying her luck?
花札を切ってランダムに1枚引いて、桜の札を引けたら自分の選択を信じるってルールだよ。
She'd shuffle it up and draw one randomly.
気をもらったんだ。
if the card had cherry blossom, she'd trust her gut. It helped give me some courage yesterday. Thinking back, that was our final exchange. To believe in my companions or suspect them. Thanks to Rowdy's insistence, I drew a cherry blossom and felt more confident in my decision. I'm struck by how profoundly brave she was, right up until the end. Upon thinking about how I'll never hear that lively voice of hers again, a pang of regret brims in my chest. I failed to protect her.
それにしても、なんで床にバラバラになってるんだろう。ヤマトさんは服のポケットに入れていたはずだけど。
Anyway, why are they all over the floor? They should have been in Rowdy's pocket.
無能殿、この花札、なんだか妙であるぞ。
Heart, good sir, there's something amiss with this deck. He's right. There's something off about the cards he's holding. It's not just a portion of them that have cherry blossoms, but every single one. How could this be an accurate test of luck?
これじゃあ、いつでも桜の札を引けるから、自分の選択を信じるしかないじゃないか。
With a deck like this, you'd wind up having to trust your gut no matter what card you draw.
もしかしたらこの札は運試しのためではなく自分の選択を後押しするためのものだったのかもしれないな。
Be like these cards were not intended to test her luck, but rather a means to steal her resolve.
それってどういうこと？
What do you mean by that?
桜の札を引けば自分の選択を信じるしかない運試しで、桜の札しか用意していないのならば何があっても自分の選択を信じることになるであろう。
Should one's conviction become steel by drawing a cherry blossom, having a deck comprised only of such cards guarantees his outcome, correct?
つまりこの札を引くこととはすなわち自分の選択を信じることと同義なのだ。
Therefore, by drawing a card from this deck, one is obligated to believe in their choice. What Armor says makes sense. I get it now. It's pretty on brand for Rowdy, now that I think about it.
ヤマトさんは一度決めたら絶対に迷わなかったもんね。
It's true. She never wavered even once after making up her mind.
きっと飛躍殿の代わりにこの部屋で眠ったことにも起こることはあれど後悔はないのであろうな。
Indeed. Though she was likely incensed by this turn of events, she would not regret trading cells in Doleful's place. Of this I'm certain.
惜しい人を亡くしてしまったな。
Hers was a truly great loss. Yeah.
無能の兄さん、もっと気楽に考えな。
Don't worry your little head so much, Bob.
自分が本気で選ぼうとする決断ならこんな札一枚に左右なんかされねえ。されるはずがねえ。自分が本当に選びたい選択を後押ししてくれるはずだ。
If it's a choice I'm serious about making, a card ain't gonna sway me. No way, no how. This is more like a push to pick the answer I'm really after.
だから引くんだよ。自分の決断を信じてな。
So take a card and trust in your decision. Rowdy's words from yesterday repeat in my head. Right, I've already trusted my decisions up until this point. Nothing's to be gained from regret, so I need to stop second-guessing myself and make a choice. The only path is forward.
武装さん、僕のロープをちぎってもらってもいいかな。
Armor, would you mind cutting this rope?
無能殿、やるのだな。
My good sir, you intend to investigate?
ここでじっとなんてしていられない。
Yeah, I can't just sit around twiddling my thumbs. If Holmes accurately assessed that I'm a threat to the culprit, the case won't be solved unless I act now. A horrible tragedy has already occurred. I can't allow this chain of grief to continue any longer.
脱走は良くないな、容疑者ちゃん。
Turning tails and flattering look, my dear little suspect. Renegade steps into the cell. In his hand, he clutches a knife.
けど探偵、ナイフを持ち出して何のつもりだよ。
Renegade, what's with the knife?
容疑者にはじっとしていてもらおうと思ってね。せっかく面白いことになりそうな。
It's so our suspect... It's so our suspect will stay put. Things are shaping up to be quite interesting. Can't have you throwing a wrench into things, Now let's have you take a nice long nap.
そ んなことはさせないのである。
I shan't allow it. Just beat him up. Armor intercepts Renegade as he moves in to attack me. I look into Renegade's cold eyes, recalling the first time we met. He strangled me so tightly it cut off my circulation. A man like him surely intends to kill me. But then, with a muffled thunk, Renegade suddenly topples to the ground. I notice Bookworm standing behind him with the sizable book she's always reading in hand. Did she just hit him over the head with that thing? Good shit. Good job, Bookworm. Thank you.
魔界探偵仕込みの護身術を披露した少女は得意げに笑った。
It seems you'll be the one taking a nap, the girl quips, smiling proudly after demonstrating the self-defense technique Mystic had taught her.
文学さんどうしてここに
Bookworm, what are you doing here?
あなたがじっとしているはずがないことは分かっていましたから。脱走に協力しようと待っていたんです。
I had a feeling you wouldn't sit idly by, so I've been waiting to aid you in your escape.
さあ、下道探偵が目を覚ます前に場所を移動しましょう。と、少女は無能探偵の腕を引っ張っていった。
Come, let's go elsewhere before Renegade wakes up, said the girl she tugged at Incompetent's arm. Alright, we've seen changed. Alright, so I know what we'll do. I'm gonna head out so that I can do my normal early evening stuff. Chief amongst them eating. And I think it's still early enough that I can do all that and hang out for a bit. And then I think I can come back and let's do like a late night. Something I haven't done, like a broken up like 2-parter stream in a day. I'm not doing anything else, so probably like late tonight. So I don't know if I'm going to play. I'm probably not going to play Process of Elimination tonight for a late night thing. But I think if we're about to probably start the investigation in this, it makes sense to take a break right now in Process of Elimination, and we'll probably get to more Process of Elimination even more later this week, for sure. But then it might not happen. But I'm kind of feeling like, hey, maybe in like 3 hours time, 3.5 hours time, something like that, I'll come back on late tonight and we have like an extra late night stream. Most likely either Crosscode if I'm feeling crazy, or maybe like Demon School, and then we just kind of like hang out for a little bit longer than this. But that means then I can have like a few hours break off stream to hang out and stuff, and do all that. So I think we'll do that. Things heating up in Process of Elimination here. Another investigation. Hopefully I don't have as much trouble with the investigation in this chapter as much as I did in the last chapter, but I'm feeling more confident. I feel like I know what I'm doing in those now, unless they throw something crazy our way. Potentially. Always potential. So yeah, I think I'll be on late tonight for at least a small little extra bonus stream. And then we'll see how that goes. So, and then if I am on tonight or if I'm not on tonight, whatever the case is, tomorrow, I'm actually wanting to start even earlier potentially tomorrow, but we got Dispatch episode 4 to do and then something else. So, again, thanks for watching as always. Hope you're enjoying Process of Elimination. Until potentially later tonight, or if not tomorrow.